Good evening and welcome to Fact TV's coverage of this Division III first round playoff game. Tonight's game features the 7-1 second-seeded Bellows Falls Terriers and the 4-4 seventh-seeded Mill River Minutemen. Mill River comes in having won their last two games, while BF comes in off their lone loss of the season, a 60-52 loss in what was easily the game of the year to this point at Woodstock. This is the start of the second season, or whatever cliche you want to use. Nate, what do we expect from tonight's game?
Joe, like you just said, second season, this should be interesting. Not a team that Bellows Falls has seen all season long, but, we continue to think that this will be, Bays and Connors, and then, whatever else that this offensive line will be able to do. We saw last week it get pushed around a little bit, both sides, but, we kind of had the same thought. I don't think they got off the bus expecting to be in that kind of fight last week, and they were. But, again, Mill River comes in 4-4 with an opportunity to do something that no one else has done this year, is win a game at Hadley Field.
Yep, Mill River comes in having won their last two games against Missisquoi Valley and Springfield, so they come in a little hot here. They have some playmakers on the offensive side. I know you had a chance to talk with their coach earlier today. Vinny Cavallari looks like he throws a nice ball for Mill River, and Brandon Theriot, from what I saw in a lot of the films, he's a home run hitter, tough running back, makes a lot of big plays for them.
Yeah, Joe, you're right. I did have a chance to talk to Coach Zach Allen today, and great guy. I certainly appreciate him taking time out of his day to give us some stuff to use for the game today. And he's excited. He's excited to come here and give his guys a chance to. Again, the game starts 0-0, right? You mentioned it right off the bat. Cavallari 1,000-yard passer, Theriot 1,000-yard rusher. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Division III backfield. He had a slew of guys he was praising, and their hard work and what they mean to the program with, Patch and Moody, both north-south guys.
Yeah.
He mentioned Patch's name a couple of times today, he said he's kind of we kind of laughed a little bit because I called him the glass eater. He's kind of that Connor Perry for them.
Yeah.
Right, making plays up the middle, forcing things, making sacks, making plays on special teams, and doing those kind of things. And he had nothing but good things to say about his group and how hard they've worked to get where they're at. And but yeah, you can't have a 1,000-yard passer without good receivers. Trainer and Moody, right. Bolger, Ferguson, these guys he mentioned today are gonna give the Terriers some problems. It looks like the weather's kind of holding off here.
A little bit it does.
If the passing game could become an issue. We've seen it, last week.
Absolutely. As we're watching the Terriers warm up here, you talked about a 1,000-yard back, 1,000-yard passer. The Terriers get 2,000-yard backs, potential of a 2,000-yard running back, and we're seeing from our vantage point here this offensive line. You don't get 3,000 yards rushing without a serious offensive line. This is the time of year that you're really counting on these offensive linemen with all the hard work they've put in to set that tone, to come out early, get the push off the ball, get these guys into space, let them make the plays they need to. Anything new we should expect offensively from the Terriers, or is it just going to be kind of bully ball?
I think even Coach Allen had mentioned being physical, play every play. We've heard a lot that from coaches this year for Bellows Falls against Bellows Falls, and I certainly foresee that the Terriers will play every single play tonight. We saw them take 2 quarters off last week against Woodstock and put them in a hole that they came back from, which was again still probably the game of the year. Maybe one of the best games we've seen.
Probably the best football game high school I've ever seen.
But then they worked so hard to get it back to a tie game. Kind of ran out of gas at the end, but. No, I expect that the Terriers, you have, their own north-south guy, Cam Perry, we've talked a ton about this year. Senior day for him. A great kid, works really hard. I mean, he's, a staple in that offensive line. And you got the rest of the Hogs up there, Lovell.
Yeah,
Ernst,
Jocelyn, Ernst, and
Big Steve, Jocelyn.
And Rumrell.
Yeah, these guys have done it all year long. And even in that 38-14 deficit last week, we saw Bazin run for 290 and 5 touchdowns, and Pat Connors run, and
And yeah, you're right.
You know, so I think, and again, Tasha holding the edge. So I think, you know, this is what we're going to see again today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned Cam Perry making the North-South game. Jake Tostrup and Pat Connors will be joining him in the North-South game, both being honored here on senior night. So some nice honors there for seniors to make the senior all-star game there. I think you mentioned the coach from Mill River is actually the South coach.
Yep.
So he'll be familiar, get a little more familiar with these guys. So yeah, I agree with you, Nate. I think we're looking at more of the same from Bellows Falls. I think we're going to see, we've kind of seen it the last couple of weeks after they get off the bus, it's been a little sluggish. I don't expect to see that tonight.
You and I have talked about it already. 3 senior nights in a row on the road. Now they have their own.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a lot of emotion for high school kids to deal with, right? 4 senior nights. They act like it's not a big deal. It's a big deal,
Yeah,
right? You know,
100% it is.
Even though with the win today, got to get through this one. You're going to have another home game next week. You know, you potentially you come out and lay an egg like you did last week some, and you don't come out of here with a victory today. This is the last time that these seniors ever get to put a uniform on this field. So it's a huge deal, you know, and I think that I do think that the Terriers will show up today.
And I mean, it means a lot more. Senior night in Bellows Falls. Not being from Bellows Falls, but I grew up in the Pee Wee League. A lot of these kids have been playing on Hadley Field since they first put on cleats and pads. You yourself were one of those guys.
Yep.
So when you make it to the senior night, you haven't been just playing for 4 years. Right. You've been playing for 12 years to get to this moment. So this would seem to be one of the more emotional senior nights I could imagine, because it's a culture. It's built into everybody here, and you've worked so hard to get here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, that's a really great point, Joe. These guys have been playing since, you know, 3rd, 4th grade, even water boys for some of them.
Right.
For some of these Pee Wee teams before, and it's a pretty special night. We get 10 guys. You know, they're, you know, Mill River's got their own, but you know, it's nice to see, and you know, these 10 guys are key guys. Have made a lot of plays. Coburn on kick returns many times this year, making plays.
We've called all their names so many times. Connor Perry, Stephen James, Garrett Haskell.
Yeah.
The rum roll. These guys have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
So many of them have made so many plays, and some of them have just made key plays at the right time, like that they've just stood out moments, and that's something.
I mean, if you want to put it on that, I mean, Reed Hill, kind of an up and down season. You know, lately, kind of struggling a little bit out there, but again, probably the biggest tackle in the Fairhaven game.
Absolutely.
Save that first down. You talked about it a bunch of times. You know, Patty Connors. You know, again, you know, I've said this over and over again. Like this, you don't have leaders like him.
Yeah, special.
These
kid.
aren't. You know, he's a different breed of kid when it comes to the leadership.
Yeah.
On the field, off the field. Whatever it is, he's just one of those guys, and you know I'm happy for him. Again, haven't mentioned that either. You know, I'm headed to Fitchburg State, you know, Patty, to play baseball, so I'm super proud of him and looking forward to, you know, having these seniors do something special here tonight.
Absolutely. And with that, we're going to take a break here, let the PA announcer take over, and let the senior night activities take place.
These student athletes have given to the sport of football. From their early days in youth league, through middle school and onto JV and varsity squads, these young men have not only grown as athletes, but as leaders and teammates. The lessons they've learned on and off the field will stay with them as they move into the next chapter of their lives. We would also like to take a moment to acknowledge the incredible support system behind these players: parents and guardians, grandparents, family, and friends. Thank you for being their biggest cheerleaders, chauffeurs, motivators, and role models throughout the years. At this time, we would like to recognize and honor seniors from Mill River High School. Number 1, Arthur Trainer. Number 5, Vincent Cavallari. Number 10, Brandon Ferrio. Number 45, Jacob Lambert. Number 53, Ethan Pax. And number 64, Tucker Moody. Congratulations to those Mill River seniors. A big round of applause. Now let's introduce the seniors for the Terriers. Number 16, Reed Hill. Leading Reed at midfield is his mom, Rebecca, sister, Lorelei, girlfriend, Jalen, grandparents, Karen, Wilbur, Diane, and Donald. Number 16, Reed Hill. Number 22, Pat Connors. Leading Pat at midfield is his parents, Andrea and Patrick, his sister Emily, and girlfriend Ruby. Patrick will be attending Pittsburgh State University to play baseball and major in construction management. Number 22, Pat Connors. Number 30, Connor Perry. Leading Connor at midfield are his parents, Matt and Liz, his brothers Dylan and Briar, girlfriend Amy, and his extended family. Number 30, Connor Perry. Number 32, Stephen James. Leading Stephen at midfield is Mom Letty, Dad Stephen, Brother Eddie, and Sister Shar, and other family members. Stephen plans on studying business in college after high school graduation. Number 32, Stephen James. Number 55, Garrett Haskell. Leading Garrett at midfield is his parents, Joe and Lisa, sister Madison, grandparents Grump and Rose Haskell, and his aunt Jamie. Garrett plans to attend Husson University in Bangor, Maine to study conservation law, or is heading up to Vermont State University to study wildlife conservation. Number 55, Garrett Haskell. Number 56, Ben Rumlow. Leading Ben at midfield are his father Phil, mother Jackie, brother Josh, and sister Morgan. Number 56, Ben Rumlow. Number 72, Camden Perry. Leading Camden at midfield are his parents, Jason Perry and Jennifer Perry, and brother Benjamin. Cam plans on owning his father's excavation company upon graduation. Number 72, Camden Perry. Number 83, Colton Coburn. Leading Colton at midfield is Mom, three sisters, nephew Griffin, and brothers Eric and Sean, along with his grandmother, and he is walking with his dad's shadow box. Number 83, Colton Coburn. Number 12, co-captain Declan Leaside. Declan is being joined at midfield by his father Nick, mother Emily, brother Cole, grandfather Gary Leaside, grandmother Wendy Hardy, and girlfriend Lily Panette. Declan plans on attending trade school and then becoming an electrician. Number 12, co-captain Declan Leaside. Number 34, co-captain Jacob Tostra. Meeting Jacob at midfield are his parents, Jason with his partner Pam, and Tanya, his mother, as well as his sister Olivia and extended family. Jacob is planning on attending Great Bay Community College, where he will be playing baseball and studying business administration. Number 34, Jacob Tostra, co-captain. Let's have one final big round of applause for the 10 Bellas Falls seniors who have given so much to the program over the years. Thank you very much, guys. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bellas Falls Union High School and Hadley Memorial Field for tonight's Division III playoff game between the Minutemen of Mill River High School and the Bellas Falls Terriers. Bellas Falls and Mill River remind participants and spectators of the requirement to behave in a respectful manner. Sportsmanship and safe playing environments are the top priorities for all Vermont school-sponsored activities. This is especially true with respect to a person's race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, national origin, ethnic differences, disability, citizenship, and immigration status. Any violation on the field or in the stand can result in game stoppages, ejections, or forfeits. For the full statement, use the QR code on the roster sheet of today's contest. Let's work together to ensure a positive, supportive, and healthy learning environment for everyone involved, and have a great game, and good luck to both teams.
All right, Nate, and we're back here after that fine senior night moment. You know, I know you've done some digging in on a little bit of some stuff going on, so why don't you just give us a little more information about some happenings around Bellows Falls?
Yeah, so we have talking about Bays and Connors and these kind of things that we've done with, again, Joe. The community support for us has been just unbelievable, right?
Right.
And people reaching out and checking in, and we've come across some stats that could be piquing some interest here, especially for the Terriers, right? We talked enough, not all the time, about Jaden Bazin. Pat Connors, 1,130 yards, 11 touchdowns, 12.9 yards a carry. You talk about the beef up front, that's pretty impressive. We got into it the last couple of weeks. You brought it up last time we were in the studio for the Mount Mansfield game with Bazin in the Gatorade Player of the Year situation. Right. It's got to be real, right? Yeah. This kid is one of the best athletes we've seen. Period.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And this is with a 7-1 record. So, and we've watched plenty of film, even on other teams, and we watch games, and 1,520 yards, roughly. Okay, these are guesstimates, kind of, with some help from some parents in the community that have been awesome to us as well. But over 1,500 yards, we're looking at, roughly around 200 yards to break the high school record for Bellows Falls, which we've seen him do several times.
And you and I just sat here earlier talking about the list that was hanging up on the wall there.
Yeah.
Boy, some blast from the past names there, and some great players too. Like I didn't do much to do with Bellows Falls football, but I remember watching the championship game when Jed Lober was here. So that's quite a legendary name on there. You said he's on that board 3 different times for 3 different individual seasons. A guy from our era, Johnny Ostrowski, a great guy. I played with him on the Patriots in my time here, and I was on the 94 team for Fall Mountain that you guys went undefeated. I think you guys beat us like 12-6 or something. That was the year we almost got you. If I remember right, we ran the ball all the way down to the goal line, and then you guys stopped us 4 times from inside the 5. We had a good team that year with Jed Pellerin and Tanner Royce and Johnny Toll and those guys. We went to the playoffs that year. And we almost got you. I don't think there's ever been a Fall Mountain team to beat Bellows Falls, and that was the closest I think we came, certainly during my time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, great names, and boy, what a feather in the hat to this line, because you just mentioned 2 guys that are both going to be on that list at the end of this year.
Yeah.
So that's a toast to this offensive line with Lisai and Tostrup leading as captains on that team. Like, you can't say enough about them. I like your shirt that you've had made up here for the dynamic duo and everything.
Yeah, we kind of brought that up a few weeks ago, and it kind of caught on with some people in the community. So I was lucky enough to get some of these shirts made up, and for the families, it's kind of cool. But yeah, Lober's the number 1 on this Bellows Falls rushing list. Again, we talked about the fact that they've only had 3 coaches in their school's history with Kookaroo and Bisbee and now Lockerbie, and the amazing job they've all done. But Lober being number 1 in that rushing list, Bazin can catch him possibly tonight. And then you start talking about 2,000 yards, kind of creeping in. But you got to win today. You get to next week and get to the week after. But it's 116 carries, 13 yards a carry, 27 touchdowns, kick returns, punt returns. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
It's been exciting. So on that note, we'll take a pause here for the playing of the national anthem.
apologize. We are having difficulties getting the national anthem to play, so we are ready to start tonight's game. Our apologies.
I would have seen it.
Here we are looking at Hadley Field, the Mill River Minutemen and the Bellows Falls Terriers in the first round of the Division III VPA playoffs. This is what you work for all season, Nate. I mean, they put themselves in a position to have a home game. I think you have host in the second round in VPA also. Yeah. So they've put themselves in the right position here. I know the championship game's in South Burlington, so I'm sure that's what they're working towards right now. And I expect to see a different look when Bellows Falls comes out than we've seen the last couple of weeks. There's no bus ride this week. There's just been what happened last week hanging over their head. You know these kids didn't wear that loss well. They take the pride in what they've done, and they want to finish this strong now.
Yeah, and Mill River's not going to lay down for them. Again, playmakers. We saw a bunch of playmakers last week. Good quarterback that can throw the ball and move out of the pocket. We haven't had a chance to see Cavalieri yet, which about to see kickoff here in this exciting D3 playoff matchup. But, he looks like a kid that can get after it. And if Bellows Falls doesn't make those first tackles, we've been talking about it all year long, right?
Yep, it's going to be
first half last week against Woodstock, they missed a lot of first tackles. You can't have that tonight.
Stevie Joslin with the big boot here for the Terriers. Going to get caught and fumbled by one of the up men there. Jake Tostrup gets the first hand up, but there's Colton Colburn here on senior night making a big tackle down on special teams for the Terriers. Number 11, Gavin Trainer on the return there. Only picked up a couple of yards after the initial fumbling of the ball there. Looks like they're going to take over about the 19-20 yard line based on what I was seeing there from the line judges.
Yeah, talking to Coach Allen today, he said, there won't be anything left unturned here. Yep. All the tricks are coming out. They'll be ready. You've said it before, watching film, different formation, different looks, like they're going hurry up right out of the gate.
Yeah, I've seen these guys actually run the hook and ladder play on one of their films this year. And there's going to be a handoff right up the middle for Mill River. Mid after about 3 or 4 yards there. It's 33 Briar Barnett, Stephen James, and Brockton Lovell coming up off the bottom of the pile there for the Terriers. It's going to be 2nd and 7. Vinny Cavalieri there. I missed who actually carried for Mill River on that ball there. Garrett Haskell checking in. Terrio got the carry.
Yeah, we've seen this, different kind of look here. We've seen them switch to Connor Perry at the nose tackle position during the game. Looks like he's starting there tonight, Joe.
Cavalieri again hands it off to Terrio. Tries to go up the middle, picks another couple yards. Again, this is going to be 55 Garrett Haskell coming up off the pile there. So a couple seniors making plays here on senior nights. Colton Colburn, Garrett Haskell.
Yeah, something Coach Lockerby's done, throughout his career, which is outstanding, is try to get these senior players, in the ball game and involved. Colburn doesn't get a lot of snaps, and some of these guys don't get a lot of plays, but, getting them out there and getting this work on their,
3rd and 2 early for Mill River. Oh, that's going to be Terrio trying to get up the middle. Going to be caught in the backfield there. That's Briar Barnett, I believe, on the quick hit for the Terriers. Going to be close to a first down. No, that's Stephen James. I'm sorry, not Briar Barnett. Stephen James with a quick penetration there to get in there from his middle linebacker position.
Good to see him getting off to a good start, Joe, because he's one of those guys last week when you and I kept looking at each other going, is he okay? He's kind of missed it. This is not something that's typical of James, who's been out, a great tackler, great blocker. Outstanding senior year for him.
Oh, big play here early, Nate. The Minutemen are going to go for this 4th and very short from their own 30-yard line. So Terriers got lots of pressure. Maybe they're just trying to draw them off sides, and the Terriers hold strong. Well, Nate, we talked about that at the beginning of the season here, how the Terriers need to stay disciplined in situations like that. I'd say that coaching might be getting through there because they weren't fooled one bit.
Yeah, funny thing is, Joe, we just said Coach Allen, got pull all the rabbits out of the hat, all the tricks, everything he's got up his sleeve. Going forward on 4th down at your own 30 probably isn't the best. Again, we've seen it before. Fake punts, this and that. And, we have a good time sitting here tonight. We happen to be in the studio thanks to Alex and Will being there and braving the elements that doesn't look like rain yet. So, but I don't know that Coach Allen's got that much magic in there, thinking that you're going to turn around and stop the Terriers on
the short field. So let's see what Mill River comes out with
Looks like they're
here.
still going to go for it.
It does look like they've run out their offense here. Going to be Cavallari in the shotgun, so not even like lined up for the tush push here. They're going to. Okay, so this is a very aggressive call by Coach Allen. Going to be handed off to Terrio. Terrio, oh, he's probably got enough to get there, but not by much. Got about a yard, so Terrio forced 4 carries of the game. Picks up about 12 yards, so Mill River's not disguising what they want to do at the beginning anyways.
Yeah, hey, if it's working, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
We know Terrio, again, with 1,000 yards and the ability, and he can break them.
Yeah, he's
So
made a lot of
Terrier's
big
got to
plays.
buckle down here.
Cavallari in the shotgun. Fumbles the snap a little bit. Briar Barnett immediately closes up on the gap there and going to take down Cavallari for a big 3-4 yard loss there. Briar Barnett's played an absolute terrific season in that as that second middle linebacker next to Stephen James.
And
He
the
has
running,
been
filling in for
unbelievable.
Connors and James and Connors and Bazin in the backfield as well. And
Absolutely.
I don't know that Lockerbie gives out an unsung hero award, but he's got to be one of them.
Absolutely. He keeps making plays week after week, no matter what role. I think we've even seen him as the up man, make a couple return plays for them in the kicking game. Nice player there, that Briar Barnett. Makes a nice play there on first down. Gonna be a quick fake there. That's a backwards pass. That should be a loose ball. That pass was behind the quarterback. That should be a fumble.
I'll check this quick replay here. I think you're right.
That should be a fumble recovered by Pat Connors.
That's wow.
That was a backwards lateral.
Lucky break for the Minutemen right there.
Absolutely. That was a clear backwards lateral that should have been ruled the other way. But third and 15, you've talked about down and distance all year, and I know Coach Allen is not looking for this to be their consistent down and distance.
Yeah, the Terriers defense needs a big play right here.
Cavallari in the shotgun, gets rid of it quickly. That one's picked off. That's picked off by Briar Barnett, the unsung hero, coming up again with another big play for the Terriers. Wow.
I mean, it's just unbelievable, these guys with making these plays. Great coverage. Barnett fakes a step towards the line of scrimmage, gets back, makes the interception. I mean,
And none of the small things, man. He's
The
running down
IQ.
the sideline with the ball in the right hand so he doesn't get knocked out of there. They're coaching the game the right way and teaching these kids how to play the game the right way. It's really impressive to watch from where we've been all season.
yeah, a little pressure from the Terriers up front there too. Force a little bit of the bad throw, but
This will be Leaside under center here for the Terrace. Ball's loose. Leaside is going to fall on it. They're actually going to pick up about a yard on that, but loose ball there. So maybe there is a little weather up there we can't see. As you mentioned, we get to be in the studio tonight where our friend Will is braving the elements for us. We got Alex and his son in here helping us out inside the studio, but we're doing a nice job.
yeah, Leaside's blowing on the hands. Maybe a little cold up there at Hadley Field tonight, but that was an interesting formation. We had Bazin's in the slot. We haven't seen that too
No, we
often
have
at all
not.
this year, so you might want to think this is some kind of toss sweep to Connors.
Yeah, Bazin's over there again in pretty much the Connors location. So here's a handoff left edge to Connor, left side to Connors. He's going to move forward. Looks like about 8, 9, maybe even 10 yards on that play. He's going to go off the left side there behind Cam Perry and Rumroll. And he's just going to pick up good 8 yards.
Yeah, it's get that senior's touchdown. Right off the bat would be great.
Right. So we got Terriers lined up here, third and 2. Jaden Bazin on the handoff, fighting for the goal line. Looks like you get down to about the half-yard line.
Yeah, perfect opportunity here, Joe. We've talked about it all year long. Leaside with a half a dozen touchdowns. Give that senior, his due diligence is he's been a leader on this team the whole year, and get that little tush push right in there.
So it's going to be first and goal to go on about the half-inch yard line here for the Terriers. Yeah, Leaside, who scored 4 times this year for the Terriers. We'll see if this is see if the tush push is the go here. Looks like it's going to be Pat Connors who's going to go in right behind Stevie Joslin and Brockman Lovell. Pretty much untouched there from the 1 yard out, and the Terriers take a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, and then nothing new coming out of that. One of the things we saw in that, what is impressive, again, with this Terrier offensive line, the long run right off the bat by Pat Connors, you look at the screen, and Ernst and Lovell are on the right side of the line. They're on the left side down at the end of the field, just making blocks 10 yards down the field. Yeah, false start on the Terriers. So miscue on the 2-yard penalty, on the 2-point conversion. Just one of those things that Coach Lockerbie, as we can see, is very frustrated with. The 2-point conversions have been tough, a little bit of tough sledding at times for the Terriers.
Yeah, it did get them a little bit at the end of last week too. The 2 overtime possessions, they weren't able to get the first one, and then I think at the end of regulation they missed the 2.2. But they might have got that one, I don't remember. But yeah, it's been probably about 50% for the season for them. So there's going to be Bazin on the retry here. And he's going to fight. Oh, is he going to reach for it? No. Referee says he didn't get in. He made the reach for it, but he must have been pushed out just before he got there.
Yeah, so, we're 7 minutes in, 6-0 Terriers. The ground and pound, short little drive, with Coach Allen taking the chance to go for it, which paid off. And then, unfortunately, with a bad snap and then the interception by Barnett, turned into a quick 6 points for the Terriers. So, but how can the Minutemen, answer? You come back and, try to get back in the air, which would be my assumption from, Coach Allen, and put the ball in the hands of his playmakers.
Yeah, I see, we did see it looked like Bells Falls was keying Ontario on that first drive there. So kickoff's going to be received by number 7, Evan Ferguson of the Minutemen. He's going to bring the return up to about the 28-yard line. So that's where Mill River will start the second possession of the game, about a 13-yard return for Ferguson. Looks like Tostrup was the first one on the contact there. Tostrup and number 75, Timmy Fletcher, going to get the tackle there on that kickoff return. And we have an injured Minuteman on the field there, so hopefully that's just a quick thing and he's okay. Looks like number 44, Rylan Carlton of the Minutemen is down.
Yeah, hopefully he can, young man can get up here. I think he got caught in the wash a little bit on that kick return, and that happens on those. Sometimes, those running lanes get crushed down and guys don't see guys, and
yeah, absolutely.
You take a shot you didn't expect or didn't see coming, and that's kind of what happens. And now hopefully this guy's okay.
Yeah, looks like a wind knocked out, but we don't want to speculate here. But great start for the Terriers, Nate. They've come out popping the shoulder pads tonight. They got the quick turnover by Barnett, and they turn it into a quick 6 on the other end with Connors and Bazin just taking through the holes that offensive line creates. I know that's the recipe for this evening for the Terriers, and that's actually 64. Tucker Moody, sorry. I thought it was 44 at first, but it's Tucker Moody. He's up under his own power and walking to the sidelines here. Looks like he's got something going on with his hand, too. Big old tape job.
Yeah, so, like you said, now we'll see what Mill River and Allen could do here. And, again, you got to think that this is maybe one of those times where if you get this single coverage down here on Reed Hill, that you take a chance to go up top and see if you can get something with Trainer here.
Yeah, we have Reed Hill and Saul James in coverage out here. There's Terry on a quick carry, breaks free from the initial tackle by Connor Perry, but Pat Connors gets him on the rebound there, and Connor Perry with the quick jump gets him there, but can't quite wrap him up, and off he goes. But then there's Pat Connors right there to grab him up for no gain.
Yeah, we mentioned the north-south with Allen being the coach and the 3 guys from Bells Falls, outstanding. Good for them. Not having Connor Perry's name on that list really surprised both of us.
Yeah.
He's an outstanding player, and
he's made so
also
many
got
plays.
that Shrine team thing's kind of lingering in the back too.
He's made so many plays for this team this year. Another kind of unsung hero a little bit. Cavallari on the play action. He's going to throw this one deep. He's got a man out there, but he missed him. That was number 7. That was Evan Ferguson on the deep route. Cavallari had a man on a nice little play action rollout here, but just overthrew him by about maybe a half a yard. Put it on his hand, but probably behind him a little bit there.
Yeah,
so.
little deep on that pass from Cavallari, but we can now see he's got the arm.
Absolutely,
right?
that was a good 35, 40 yards down the field.
Plenty of air under that thing, and Basin's got to recover a little bit quicker on that coverage. We saw those guys get burned a little bit last week from the tight end position and that slot position with Woodstock.
Because they are definitely playing like a man-to-man coverage out of this secondary. They're all just taking a man. There's no backup help here. So the Terriers looking to get a pass rush here. Going to be a floater pass out here. Good coverage this time by Reed Hill and Pat Connors. Good little pass rush by the three-man front there of Ernst and Lovell and Connor Perry. Got a nice little pressure, made him sling it out there.
Yeah, Cavallari looks, a little stiff. Looks like we got that rain coming in, Joe.
Absolutely.
Little stiff out there, but that's the kind of pass where, we're talking with Coach Allen that he loves the IQ from his quarterback and, probably saw those safeties and DBs coming up and, threw it out of bounds.
Yeah. So the punt by Ferguson here is going to be down. Basin's going to get away from that one as it's going to trickle with a Mill River bounce down to about the 27-yard line. Terriers will start 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line here, leading 6-0 with 6 minutes to go in the first quarter.
You mentioned it before, how many times it can, it wouldn't be the first play, but this is, the wide side of the field, that 44, 42 off tackle. I don't know what they call it for the Terriers, but when James and Tostrup and Connors lead that right side, and we've seen Jaden Bazin take plenty of these to the house, and if that's not the call, I probably would be a little shocked here.
More of the typical lineup here with Bazin as the deep back. But yeah, that right side where they've run behind Ernst and Lovell with Tostrup and this time Mill River was ready for it, Nate.
Yeah, and for the first time, I think on the first play of the game, you get tackled. Lambert, one of the guys,
45.
Coach loves, dirt dog guy, really works hard, great practice player, leader. He Lambert's one of those guys he talked about as, being a leader on this team and.
Shot the gap there. Not easy thing to do against this offensive line. So all the credit in the world to Lambert there to get the no gain on Bazin, 2nd and 10.
I would think that that's one of those blocks that Stephen James, as this game goes on, has to pick up in the middle.
Absolutely. Everyone shifts out, leaving Leaside alone. Big pitch out here to Bazin, get him out in space. He's going to kind of move around a little bit, maybe pick up a couple yards. Mill River quickly pursues Jaden Bazin. That was a new wrinkle to the offense. Haven't seen that pitch played much this year.
Yeah, a little toss sweep here. I know they got the quick touchdown. Again, where's the fire? We see we talked about it last week for the first time all year with the body language with the Terriers. Where's the fire?
Yeah.
Where's the juice? Right? It doesn't have to rely on big plays all the time, but we're so used to them. Let's see what they got here.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot more big plays than the sustained drives over the last few weeks. 3rd and 8 for the Terriers. Leaside under center. Going to be a counter play to Pat Connors. Connors looking for the edge. Looks like he's going to get the edge. Looks like he's going to get the first down by about 2 or 3 yards there. Nice little 12-yard run by Pat Connors. He was looking like he was cramping up at the end of last week, so it's nice to see him kind of full juice here. Quick player.
Yeah, the wear and tear at the end of that thing last week got to both teams. I think Emery with cramps and Patty Connors getting some cramps, and that game was just adrenaline filled and it was just hectic.
Yeah, absolutely. So fresh set of downs here for the Terriers, about the 40-yard line. You got Bazin deep with Stephen James behind him. Goyette lined out wide to the right. Going to be a quick handoff to Jaden Bazin. Bazin finds a little running room, makes guy miss, and spins away, breaks another tackle or two, picks up 12 yards.
Yeah, those are the kind of runs we saw. We saw this in the start of the second half last week when the Terriers were down, got the fumble, and when Bazin gets that pad level down and can line guys up, it really becomes a problem. We got a flag on the play.
And honestly, those are the runs to me that are more impressive even more than his 80-yard touchdown run. So when he lowers the shoulder pads and gets down. So you did see the flag on the play. It looks like it's coming back, Nate. So it must be a holding for about a 10-yard penalty?
So this would have been after the play because it's now still first down. So Bazin gets the first down. So some sort of personal foul of some sort again on the Terriers.
Gotcha.
Which Coach Lockerbie must be livid.
So 1st and 17 now. It's going to be Bazin sweep out here to the right. Stephen James out here with him. Little slip, but he still manages to pick up 4 or 5 yards. But yeah, that's been the most fun part for me watching this kid run is when he just lowers those shoulder pads because he's 6'2" or so. He's a big kid.
He is a
And
really
he
big
gets
kid.
down there at that level to hit some of these defensive backs that are, 5'6", 5'5", and he's lower than their shoulder pad level, and he just delivers a blow. He's an amazing athlete. It's been great to watch him this season. So he picked up 7 on that down here. So it's going to be 2nd and 10. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. We've got another Minuteman down here, so hopefully everything's okay. This one's number 79, Gavin Salzman, so hopefully Mr. Salzman's doing okay here and can get back up. I didn't see what happened there. It seemed pretty late in the formation because everyone was kind of lining up, so I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, maybe the wind knocked out him. Maybe got a bell rung a little bit on that last play. I think he's the one that shoved Bazin out of bounds.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
But a lot of work to do here for the Terriers. Again, a Minutemen are coming out and punching. The nice plays by the linebackers up the middle, and the guys are in positions. One of the things that in the first part of this first quarter I've seen with Mill River too is they're getting to the edge.
Yes.
Right? One of the things we saw Bells Falls struggle with last week is the defensive ends and the outside linebackers not keeping contained, and Mill River's doing a nice job of that so far with even that kind of run right there where Bazin's really got to stretch it out to get to the sideline to get those extra 2 or 3 yards to where, we haven't seen a lot of that. Typically, once we hit that hole, Bazin's, 30, 40 yards down the field, but.
Yeah. Well, we've got a minute here while Mr. Salzman's walking off on his own power. Let's mention that the field hockey team will be playing for the state championship Saturday up at UVM. I think the game starts at either 1 or 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock, yep.
And across the river, Fall Mountains girls and boys soccer team each won a road playoff game as underdogs, so they'll be going to the quarterfinals there. So some exciting news across the playoff spectrum here.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I got a chance to watch that field hockey game. My niece Reese plays on that team, does a great job, but Veronica Moore's, it's like watching Jaden Bazin.
2 goals in that game, 6 in the first round game. And I guess she's going Division I. I watched her a lot in basketball last year. Great player. Jaden Bazin gets the handoff here on 2nd and 10. He's going to be tripped up after a short gain of about 2 or 3.
Yeah, just real quick back to that, field hockey thing. It's so impressive. I didn't get a chance to see a ton of games this year, but how we talk about Jaden Bazin. If we were doing field hockey games every single day, Joe, you'd be talking about Veronica Moore the same way because she's pretty impressive. That was
I've been to a couple.
That was unbelievable how fast she is and getting up and down the field.
Yeah.
But what a great team. Bethany, of course, has been there forever, doing a great job.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of the games this year, and I felt the same way. Veronica Moore, I watched her in basketball last year. I was amazed at just how fast she was in that sport and aggressive in basketball, which surely shows out on the field hockey field. Stephen James breaks free to the second ground there and picks up about 15 yards. That's probably his long run of the season there.
Absolutely, and that would be one of those plays that Coach Lockerbie maybe kind of be setting up here, like, hey, over pursuing. We see them shift their defensive line and linebackers all shift when Connors goes in motion, leaving that backside 30 blast wide open, and that's a staple play that's been in this playbook for as long as this high school's been here.
Great recognition by the coaching staff.
I think 30 blast was in when my dad was a quarterback in 1970.
So 1st and 10 from their own 39 here, the Terriers, or from the Mill River 39. Sorry. Connors with that stiff arm picks up a 2 or 3. Picks up 2 or 3 yards. It's been nice to actually get to see Pat Connors here. He's a kid that I heard about years ago. A friend of mine coached him in Little League Baseball back in Charlestown and told me this kid was special because he was such a great baseball player. But even back then, he was taking kids aside that weren't as skilled as he was and teaching them things.
Yeah.
And that was at the Little League level. So I've heard about this kid for years. And, of course, I played rec basketball with his dad for a little bit for a year or two. And so it's been nice to actually get to see the athlete I've heard about for so many years, and he absolutely checks every box I've been told about by the kid.
I agree.
Lee sidelines up under center, 2nd and 8. Bays in the deep man's going to take that. He's got the first down. He's battling for more. That's one of those, I love watching that run right there. The kid doesn't quit. He's got people trying to take him down by the legs, and you can't ankle tackle Jaden
I mean,
Mason.
that's 5 tacklers that hit him, and he still goes forward.
You can't ankle tackle the kid.
So, and this is the wear and tear you get, right? Nothing overly explosive and crazy, right out of the gate here from the Terriers, but this is kind of what you get, and I'll be curious. Now they got Kissel in the game, probably a double tight end formation here for the Terriers.
Triple I formation here, not something you see a whole lot. 1st and 10 on the 25-yard line for the Terriers. Leaside under center, gets to the middleman. Connors, ball's on the ground. Leaside quickly gets on that. Great heads-up play by Declan Leaside there to pick that up after the handoff didn't get clean.
Yeah, as we watched that play develop a little bit, I don't even see Pat Connors reach for the football, so not too often. Maybe that's the first time this year we've seen a little miscommunication between Leaside and Connors, but, hey, both of them amazing leaders, great kids, and you shake it off. But again, you got some rain. It looks like that rain's coming down pretty good, Joe.
Yeah, we just got a nice little camera pan out there, and it looks like the weather's shifted. So Leaside under center, 2nd and 10. The little quick hitter to Connors is going to be blown up by number 63. That's Ethan Patch. That's a name that you said Coach Allen mentioned, right?
Yes, loves Patches. We talked when we were talking on the phone today. I said, he mentioned him as being his kind of glue guy, and he's that guy that does it all and works hard, and we call him the glass eater because he's like Connor Perry, just ready to do it all and do whatever it takes.
So 3rd and 11 here with 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. Now we're going to have a false start on the Terriers there. Couldn't tell if it was the snap that got delayed a little bit there or if it was just the left guard Rumroll jumping off sides there.
Yeah, I think he tried to pull a little early on that one, but again, 6-0, but that was to benefit of the help from the Minutemen with the interception and the short field position.
Yep.
I mean, this is a good drive by the Terriers. Look, started at their own 25-yard line. They're methodically doing what they do. It feels like they're going through the motions, Joe.
Yeah, it doesn't
it's
feel
kind of the second week in a row we've seen this.
It doesn't feel full throttle at this moment, but something, last week it was Connor Perry on the opening kickoff of the second half got a fire lit. So right now they're just looking for someone to light that fire. Maybe it's Jaden Bazin lowers his shoulder into a guy and gets everyone lit up. But here's Leaside dropping back to throw. Swings it out here to Jaden Bazin. Bazin, that's a tough run. I don't think he's going to get all 16 back, but he's going to pick up a good 10 yards or so on that pass play. Line of scrimmage there is about the 30. Yeah, he picked up about 8 yards or so on that swing pass, so that should bring up about 4th and 8 or so for the Terriers. So this would be about as far, I think, as they would want to try a field goal, but I don't think that's the situation.
Yeah, pouring rain tonight. Probably not something you want to try to do. You got an opportunity to throw the ball if you can. Let Leaside let it go.
Leaside under center, 4th and 8 here. Going to be pitched out to Bazin. Bazin cuts it up there. Tough run. I don't think he's going to quite get there. Looks like he needed to get up to about the 15. I don't.
Yeah,
think
definitely going to be short. So again, Hey, Minutemen showed up. We talked. We knew it was going to happen.
Yep.
As we start this second quarter, Coach Allen's got to be pretty happy with what he's seeing out there. Bend but don't break, and they've not allowed the big play. This is, one of the first games all season that we haven't seen the Terriers bust one of those 30, 40-yarders in the first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the Minutemen sideline got to be pretty fired up over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely looks like it's getting a little tough sledding out there. So the traction is going to be good, but this is where you win the game in those trenches, and that's that's one of the Bellows Falls' big things here. So at some point you got to believe that they're going to get a good push and they're just going to move forward with this. But like you said, Nate, it's a little stagnant so far.
Yeah, is the weather playing a factor? You and I talked about this last week a little bit at Woodstock when it started raining some. Terriers don't seem to get off the ball as well, don't seem to get as good of a push, don't seem to have the speed even in the rain. On offense, you think you have an advantage because you know the play, you know where you're going.
Right.
Guys know where to go and make those kind of plays, but it just, slipping and not cutting fast, and, you maybe want to make an adjustment cleat-wise
Right.
at some point if this is going to continue to be a problem for the Terriers.
So Terriers line up on defense now. 1st and 10 for Mill River. Cavallari in the shotgun. Looks like they do most of their work in the shotgun. It's to swing it out here wide. It's going to be dropped by number 3, Jake Bolger. So definitely the grip's getting a little tough out there. There's been a couple good passes Cavallari's thrown right onto the hands that they haven't been able to haul in.
And another pass right there, Joe, where close to being backwards. I mean, that was right down the line of scrimmage, right in front of the side judge over there. And, clearly from our vantage point, it's easier to question. And
Absolutely.
He's 2 feet away, so we hope we make the right call.
And we have the replay as well. So it's Mill River 2nd and 10. Cavallari in the shotgun. That one gets over his head. Cavallari's going to fall on it, but that's going to be a good 15-yard loss. It's going to be a 3rd and 20, 3rd and 25 here for Mill River. So that's absolutely not what they were going for there.
And and it certainly appears at this point that the wet and the cold combined is just going to wreak havoc on these quarterbacks in those kind of situations. As far as I hope that Mill River has some under center stuff, because if this is going to continue with the shotgun to be trouble for not just Cavallari to catch it but to throw it. Right. Like,
that ball's getting wet sitting on the ground, then it gets more rain on it, and it's just. It's a tough atmosphere, and it adds an element when you're snapping at 5 yards back in the air. Another tough snap there. That one's grabbed by Cavallari. He's going to try to chuck this one deep. He's got a guy out there right through his hands. Great ball by Cavallari. Number 11, Gavin Traynor, was right there but couldn't haul it in. Great throw right there by Cavallari.
Up until week 6, Joe, we praised the Terriers' defense and how just unbelievably better they've been against the pass this year. Certainly look susceptible to in the Fairhaven game some, and then last week against Woodstock, and a couple of missed throws right off the bat here. Mill River might have a lead.
Yeah, absolutely. He's put a couple right on the hands that haven't been caught. So Mill River will be back to punt from their own end zone. Terriers almost got in there for that block. It's a little slip out here on the return, so there's going to be no return. Basin slipped at about the 40-yard line. It's going to bounce for Mill River, and it's going to be about the 42-yard line where Bellows Falls will take over. Boy, who almost got in there on that?
Joslin.
64,
yeah,
Stevie Joslin.
Looks like Big Stevie, used the IQ card there and said, I'm not going to try it because if I hit him, we're going to get a first down.
But he got up nice and tall there.
Good idea to just kind of let it go. But we just mentioned it, the cleat factor. It's got to be an issue right now for Bellows Falls. Last week, this week, Basin's slipping, not even going for the ball, really.
Trying to just change his direction.
They're going to have to try to figure that aspect out.
So Leaside under center here, 1st and 10. Terriers start off on the 42-yard line. Got Basin deep. A little fun up there. Basin takes it off the right side. He's going to pick up 3 or 4, but there's a late flag coming in. So we'll see with that. That's probably in the area of holding typically, so we'll see what we get there. Oh, I see a face mask, I believe, being signaled by the referee.
Yeah, actually, I don't even think it was on the ball carrier, Joe. I think it was...
Interior?
I think it was a linebacker coming in and got Rumroll on this side over here, kind of hands to the face, got his hand up into the face mask area of Rumroll.
So that's a nice push forward for the Terriers. The Terriers will be 1st and 10 now. No, 1st and 2. On the 1st and 2, 1st and 3 at about the 34-yard line here for the Terriers.
I mean, but you're looking for that big one.
Absolutely. Leaside under center. Got to be very careful of these first. Even the snaps right now have been getting a little tricky. So Basin takes that one. He makes something out of nothing there. Nice little 4 or 5 yard run by Basin on. There wasn't much there. Mill River was in there. It was just one of those little trap plays, but he gets the first down.
Yeah, and again, now we can see this, rain coming down even harder at this point. I can hear it through
my headset.
Leaside struggling to handle the ball, under center with the weather and all whatnot. But I need to stop saying it, but the push by the Terriers has got to be better.
Yeah. Leaside under center, gets it off to Patty Connors. Connors off the right tackle there. Picks up another couple yards. So going off the right side there, they pick up 5 yards or so, bring up 2nd and 5 for the Terriers. 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5, something like that.
Yeah, Lambert's been in on a few plays already today. Just make it by the fourth tackle, I think, so far in this game already for him. Who's plugging those holes. He's doing a good job with getting in there and making those plays.
He's a sneaky little linebacker there. He makes nice plays. Lisa under center, 2nd and 7 here. James directly behind him, Basin deep. Patty Connors off to the right. Going to be off to Basin. Here's that little right trap play that we've seen all year. Basin jumps over a guy, makes the guy miss, gets down to about the 6-7 yard line. Nice run by Basin. That's the most explosive run we've seen out of him tonight.
We watch this right here. Ernst with a great pin down.
Yeah, and
Patty Connors gets the second level guy. Steph James gets his guy.
Yep.
You know, that's the kind of stuff that Bells Falls has kind of been missing in the last 6 quarters is everybody get a guy, you know, and sometimes it's not necessarily the guy you're supposed to get, but find a guy in the other color jersey to get in the way of.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Ernst and Lovell did a great job blocking their guys down for James and Tostrup to come out there with Connors and clean out and to get that opened up. Great job by those guys. So 1st and 5 here for the Terriers. It's going to be Lisi handoff directly up the middle. I think that's Stephen James. Yep, Stephen James is going to be awful close to the goal line here. Well, he's having a sneaky good game here. He's made a couple of plays there in the first quarter on defense, and he had that long run. That was a nice little 8-yard run there. Or not 8, I guess 4, because it was 1st and 5. He's playing a nice little game here tonight.
Lockerbie, like I said, the staff definitely saw something with that fullback. Again, when you offset and put Connors and Basin where they get so many carries that James can get those sneaky plays. That looks like Arthur Trainer's down now for the Minutemen. Hopefully he's okay. Senior, wide receiver that coach praised up pretty good about his work ethic and how tough he is, and this looks miserable there, but hopefully this young man's okay and can get up and get himself to the sideline and back in there to help his team, who's really battled and played hard this first quarter and few minutes to keep him in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. They've made the tackles like we talked about with the Terriers in their secondary. They're not letting Basin make the 20-yard run. They're stopping him at the 8-yard run. They're keeping him in front of them. They're keeping Connors in front of them. So that's about the best you can hope to do. I mean, those guys haven't averaged a first down a carry in this so far this game, which their season average, both of them, is over a first down a carry. They're probably at like 5 or 6 yards a carry here in this quarter of this half.
And the physicality of Allen's guys.
Greg Osborne's doing a nice job in the middle there at center.
When I had a chance to talk to Coach this morning, he had a lot of praise for his defensive coordinator, John Kikuchi, who's come from Massachusetts, coached high school football for 25, 30 years, and he said he's really been an unbelievable addition to his staff and what he gives the kids and the looks and how he does things, and so it's showing up so far today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this Greg Osborne, number 77. He's their center. He's their nose tackle. He's done a great job clogging up the middle there to kind of let those linebackers sneak in there and make those plays. And yeah, you can tell it's a well-disciplined defense that's coached very well. Terriers here going to be 2nd and goal from about half an inch or so. Not even. It's basically a full football at this point for the Terriers. So Lisi under center, he's gotten 4 touchdowns from 1 yard out this year, so it might be him with a little tush push. Stephen James has been running hard, so it's possible it's a Stephen James carry. It's Lisi right up the chute there, and that's going to be Declan going in for the 6 to put them up 12-0. We've seen that a few times this year. He runs that play really good.
Yeah, we know you can't aid the runner in high school, but we like that little tush push. The Terriers get behind Big Stevie Joslin. Making a nice block up there with Lovell and just clearing guys out. And, nice methodical drive right there for the Terriers.
Yeah.
Again,
and in these weather conditions, that's disheartening.
And this is where the wear and tear starts to come in.
Basin looks like he's lined up as the direct snap here, and I see some flags. So we might have an illegal formation.
You got
or too many guys on.
Ernst and Perry. It looks like some confusion on. I think it was supposed to be a quick snap, maybe it looked like.
Gotcha. So this is the second penalty they've had on 2-point conversions here, so that's certainly not what they want.
Yeah, and now you have, Kissel's back in the game for Goyette, which might lead you to be a double tight end set. But, hey, Kissel's got some great hands. That kid is a good athlete. Tostrup's made some catches, and, just because it's a double tight set doesn't mean you can't play action this, especially if Bazin throws the ball.
Yeah, and you've had Patty Connors and Stephen James catch the ball in the backfield this year too. So they definitely got plenty of people they could. Leaside gets back to throw it. That's a nice pass, but it's going to be not quite complete. Trying to sneak it out there to Patty Connors. Threw a nice ball there through the rain, but going to fall incomplete.
Yeah, rolling to his weak side there. But good again. Conditions look terrible. Throwing the ball is not ideal, and it's not something that Leaside's had to do a ton this year, but he has done really well with it. But for sure, he's hit some big plays, big passes. Tostrup's made some really nice plays down the field.
Absolutely. Goyette the last few weeks has stepped up.
Yeah,
I think he's got a touchdown
I
think 3 straight games he's got a touchdown. 2 of them from Bazin. But I think it's 3 straight games for Goyette and a score. So he's stepped up a lot the last few weeks. So Stevie Joslin will look to kick it off for the Terriers here. In these conditions, 12-0. The weapon he's been as a kicker, a squib kick isn't something I would rule out here. When it hits a Mill River guy, you get the ball back, and suddenly Mill River's starting at 3-score deficit.
Yeah.
We'll see what Stevie's got. Nope, just a nice boot down the field there. Picked up nicely by Ferguson at about the 20-yard line. Great coverage by the Terriers out there. It's going to be number 56. That's Ben Rumroll on the tackle, tackling Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson, junior wide receiver. Nice pickup in the weather there. Little, skipped in there to him. Coach had mentioned that he'll take over for Cavallari as the quarterback next year for this Mill River team, and he's really excited about that.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of his stuff on film. He's made some plays for them this year for sure. Cavallari back in the shotgun here. Again, it does look like the majority of their offense is in this little shotgun. Oh, that is a big blow-up play there. That's everybody from up front. That's 57. That's Barnett. That's James. That's Rylan Ernst. That was everybody. They blew that play up real quick.
Yeah, this Coach Allen mentioned, hopefully the rain would have held off a little bit longer, obviously, for the passing game that, Mill River's been pretty successful with in the last couple of weeks. You mentioned the win over Springfield. The conditions look terrible for these quarterbacks to get the ball out.
So we got a 2nd and 10 here for Mill River. Cavallari in the shotgun. Quick handoff to Terrio. Terrio makes the guy miss, but then there's just a swarm of Terriers. He breaks through. That's an impressive run by Terrio to find any slippery room there at all, because Bells Falls had him pretty well bottled up in there, but couldn't get a clean hit on him.
Yeah, you got to wrap up. You've got to wrap up. We've been seeing this, the last couple of games. First guy missed. James misses.
Yep.
Barnett with a miss.
There.
James gets a shoelace on him, but takes him down. But these first guy wrap ups, even if they're not making the tackle, hold them and let the rest of the team get there to make that team tackle.
Tough run by Terrio there to pick up the first down for Mill River. Much needed first down, by the way. Cavallari in the shotgun. Oh, it's going to be a fumble. That's a fumbled snap. Looked like he tried to take it back out of Terrio's hands. Patty Connors is going to pick up the loose ball, streak down the right side. Patty Connors is going to go to the house for a house call on this one. So there's that quick. It looks like we're going to have a celebration penalty. It was pretty quick.
Yeah, Patty's got to wait till he's in the end zone to put that hand up in the air.
Oh, is that what they got him for?
Patty's little signature finger point there. I've seen him do it a bunch of times this year in the 15 touchdowns he scored, but you can't do it at the 6, Patty.
Yeah.
Coach, you're going to hear about that one from Coach Lockerbie, I think.
All right, so I didn't understand that call, but thanks for explaining that one for me, Nate. But that does make sense then. But yeah, so Patty Connors with a nice fumble recover there. So that's his 2nd score of the game. Puts him up to 13 total scores on the season. That's a great season.
And with some defensive plays too. We saw the Springfield game where he had to pick at the 1 yard line and took it,
90-something
that
yards.
97 just couldn't get that 98.
Yeah. That's still the worst feeling in football because someone else gets your touchdown then.
Yeah.
You're standing on the sidelines catching your breath, and you watch someone else walking in.
Yeah, the one thing about this Terrier team is they're a team.
Yeah,
and,
he didn't care about that.
Somebody makes a mistake, you kind of pick somebody up, right? And this is what they've done time and time again, even down 38, 14, or 16 at the half there last week, and then they just came out and, really stepped it up as a team.
Right.
And this is just what they do.
So we got 18-0 now with the Terriers. 7:15 to go in the second quarter. Lining up for the 2-point conversion. They're 0 for 2 on their tries tonight so far. First 2 times they've had a penalty prior to the play or during the try. So let's see if we can get a clean one here.
Yeah, just a miss the handoff. It looked like one of those RPO plays for Mill River, giving Cavallari an option. Hey, hand it. See what you see. I think he kind of tried to pull that thing back and wanted to let one rip. And we've talked about these conditions. It's just getting harder by the minute out there to run those kind of plays against good pressure by the Terrier defense up front.
So it does look like there was another penalty here on the Terriers in the 2-point try, and they're backed up yet again. I didn't see the call there, but they're going to do the try from about the 18-yard line. Leasai on the option out here to Bazin. Bazin's going to try to make a guy miss. Can't quite get down there. So another tackle by Mill River. Bazin picked up a good chunk of change there, but again, another penalty setting them back on the 2-point conversion is making the 2-point tries really challenging on something they haven't been super great at this year. Of all the things they've done, this has been one of their biggest struggles.
Then in a play like that is, kind of sets the tone a little bit more down the road, right? Leasai, hold, pitch, takes the big hit.
Yeah.
Willing to take the big hit to get that pitch out there at the right time to Bazin, taken down at the 2-yard line. But again, we shouldn't be having 25-yard extra points every time, Joe. They got to clean that up.
Right, and I didn't see the call that led to that there, but I would believe. Oh no, it must have been the Patty Connors celebration. Must have backed it up. So here goes. It's going to be Stevie Joslin kicking off. 18-0 for the Terriers with 7:15 to go here in the first half. I can hear the rain through my headset here, so I am very grateful that we have this wonderful setup tonight, and kudos to all these kids and parents out there watching this game tonight. Stevie Joslin, that's an absolute boot for him down to the 15-yard line. Going to be Ferguson on the catch. Connor Perry just breaks free from a block and makes the tackle one-on-one down there.
Good job by Connor Perry. Last week we saw him overrun several of those against Woodstock and just not be, and it's frustrating for that kid who's made seems like 100 tackles this year, and a little bit of adjustment. Hey, I'm going to break down. I'm going to take my time and wrap up and.
I mean, to be fair, that's the toughest tackle in football. The open field one-on-one tackle is the toughest play to make. And until last week, I don't know that he'd missed one.
Yeah, he's made a lot of them, and he's made a living off that this year. And, again, not being on that North-South roster, I hope that kid makes that Shrine roster because he more than deserves it.
Absolutely. So we have Cavallari in the shotgun here for Mill River, trailing 18-0, 1st and 10. Little RPO action, hands off to Terrio. Terrio's going to pick up, 3, 4, 5 yards there. Nice little play there. But again, you can see the RPO, and that's definitely tricky in this weather here.
Yeah, I think you'll see this is where it gets tricky for Bells Falls too, right? Do you add the extra guy to the box? Do you put Bazin up there? Do you leave Goyette or Hill or Davignon or Saul out here one-on-one at this point? Because, a post route or a flag route that gets you open can be a touchdown, so you can't let anybody behind you, especially with no safety help, which they appear to not have right now.
Cavallari lines up in the shotgun again. He's going to hand this one off to Terrio. Terrio's immediately met in the backfield there. That was great penetration on the Terriers. Let's see what we got for that penetration.
Yeah, Steph James, senior night.
Stephen James.
He's
his,
come alive.
Wow, that's
good for him.
Second one behind the line of scrimmage tonight. Great job on the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, we're calling his name a lot tonight. Great night for Stephen James so far.
Yeah, and this kid is, he's played every year. He's again, first time he was able to put cleats on in the 3rd grade, 4th grade, and this kid has been at that field his entire life and worked really hard. And he's been a backup because of the plethora of running backs that the Terriers have had year after year. And he now has his opportunity, and I couldn't be more happy for a kid like that who stayed with it, stuck with it, and grinded it out. And, Steph James is the epitome of Bells Falls football for just having a big heart and willing to be out there.
He waited for his opportunity, and he's made the most of it this season. He's had a great senior season for the Terriers. Might get an encroachment penalty there on the snap call. They might have got Connor Perry to jump a little quick there.
Yeah, another penalty on the Terriers. Joe, it's just one of those one of those things. I mean, we see Coach Lockerbie here on, the hands in the pockets and his head.
Body language, for sure.
If it wasn't pouring, I think the hat would be off with the head rub,
Yeah.
which I've seen a million times in my own life. And, you can't continue to have just foolish penalties. What do we have, 5, 6 penalties now in the
Yeah,
first half?
at least 5 that I've counted, because 3 came on the extra points. So yeah, at least 5. But yeah, it's one thing that you can see it on his face. He's kind of fed up. Great penetration there by the Terriers on the play action pass. Lovell and Perry in there real fast with Tostrup. That made Cavallari just get rid of that real fast, and nothing really developed.
Yeah, as Coach Allen wanted to, find every single trick he had up his sleeve or in his hat tonight. Those are getting limited here with just the conditions with the cold, and Cavallari even catching the snap seems to be a problem for him right now. And it doesn't look like they have anything to really go to under center. Even on that 4th and inch play, they were shotgun.
It was shotgun. No, I don't think we've seen him line up under center yet tonight. Quick snap to Cavallari. He's going to get it out here quick to number 7, Ferguson, who's going to be immediately met by Jake Tostrup. So another senior making a big play on senior night. And Tostrup, most of the year we've seen him set that edge so well as that outside linebacker. We've seen him make a lot of pressures on the blitzes and stuff. But he absolutely read that immediately and knew where that was going. And he jumped that route.
Jake maybe watched our replay last week and probably saw some film with Coach Lockerbie and Studley, and he knew, hey, I got to make these plays and get this edge and be better, because for 7 games I've been really great, and I had a little letdown, but again, his leadership is unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
His leadership is just so unbelievable and great for him. Kid who's going to go play baseball and in college. I had a chance to coach him in Babe Ruth a couple of years with his dad's a great guy, and I'm so happy for Jake and what he's going to be able to do. And
yeah, I coached his sister in AAU basketball in Jared's program there, Olivia Tostrup. I think she's on the field hockey team. I met the dad a couple times too. Real nice guy. Yeah,
great family, and Jake's always one of those kids that just he works hard. He's got great IQ. He gets after it, and he loves the games, and he competes. I've been lucky enough to be around him and Big Steve Joslin for a long time with my son going to that school, and these guys just have that it factor when it comes to being a leader, and it's pretty special.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And you can see it with Leaside with the command of the huddle, with all of it, with Tostrup. It's just he does so much. You can just see it from everything they do on the field there. So Ferguson gets out under his own power here, walking off the field. Looks like he's just a little sore.
Yeah, it was a big shot by Tostrup right in the back. And
it's getting cold and rainy, and the Terriers just had one of their long 8-minute drives of just 6 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, where it's just physical.
We can start to see a little bit of the wear and tear. Hands on the hips. These are, who's got the body language, whose ability to make the plays now, and Mill River still hanging around. You need a score. You need a good drive right here, Joe.
Yeah, a score for them does change the game, and it changes everything on their sideline, I'm sure, at this point too. Cavallari takes the snap, gets the pass off. That's going to be caught out there. So a completion to number 11. That's Gavin Trainer on the catch. So that's a big play for Mill River, about 20-25 yards on the throw and catch. Looks like it was Saul James on the tackle out there with Reed Hill, Jaden Bazin.
Yeah, I don't, that's, to be that wide open on a night like tonight, again, baffling a little bit with the, you got to have that little bit of zone coverage help over the top, because, one guy gets deep, you're going to the house,
Right.
And I think Bells Falls needs to make a little bit of adjustment. I know it's one play, but it's been there for this Mill River team, and I think if the conditions were a little bit better, Cavallari probably throwing for well over 100 yards. I bet if the conditions are better, just overthrew Ferguson earlier.
That's that same seam route we've seen the last few weeks, where someone shoots right down the middle, and they're open. And it's one-on-one coverage.
We saw it from Ramier, or the tight end number 30 last week for Woodstock, who just missed a couple of plays down the field, but he ended up scoring a couple of touchdowns.
Right.
Just that little seam route down the middle, and they've got to figure out who's going to make that coverage. If Hill's one-on-one on the outside, and that's James's guy on the inside, or if that's a linebacker that's supposed to pick him up.
Right.
That's just an adjustment. I would have, Studley and Lockerbie will make. We got another
Minuteman
down the
down.
field.
Can't quite make out the number on this one. When he stands up, we'll let you know.
64, I think.
Oh, 64. Okay, that's Tucker Moody.
Yeah, he kind of got a little bit banged up there right off the bat, and that, one of those opening kickoffs, Joe, and
Yep.
that might just be one of those things for the rest of the night that kind of lingers for him. I hope not. Been working hard out here, both sides of the ball, offense, defense, kick return. Seems like he puts a lot of, makes a lot of plays for this Minutemen team, and hopefully he can get back out there.
Yep. We got 4 minutes 56 seconds to go here in the first half. Terriers up 18-0. Mill River on the drive. They haven't really driven the ball since their first possession. I think they drove down the field a little bit, if I recall correctly. But this is their best penetration that they've had so far. One big play. So we'll see what the Terriers can do, if they can change the momentum here and get the stall up.
Yeah, that's big pass play. They've been kind of sitting there, having the opportunity to make these plays, and just misses on a couple of throws. But again, bend don't break. This is hopefully a time now where the Terriers can say, hey, this is our guy. Who's going to take this? Who's going to make this play? And you can't just keep leaving the middle of that field open. And
right,
whether it's Bazin or James or, again, Reed Hill or whoever needs to be make an adjustment on that play down the middle of the field is got to make it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mill River, honestly, with the missed 2-point conversions, if Mill River comes up with a touchdown here, this is a ball game.
That's I mean,
it really is. Like
you've taken 6 points off the board yourself just by penalties.
Right. And I mean, right now, if it gets 18-7, that's a lot closer than it would feel, based on what we've seen so far in this game. So.
Yep.
They could it's one of those times when Bells Fall's done great tonight. They've stepped up and made that play when they needed to. So hopefully they can do it again here. But it is just kind of, they're hanging around, and that's not really what you want to do. You don't really want to let a team hang around.
Yeah, and you said it, right? 24-0 isn't 18-0, right? And that's a lot different when you look up at the scoreboard and see 24 versus 18, and you just got to, Bells Falls has got to figure out a way to be far more efficient with these 2-point conversion attempts. But it's been since week one where we've seen, even week one with Windsor, use 3 timeouts in the first half on 2-point conversions because we didn't have the right formation, or you didn't have the right players, or you didn't have something right out there. And, now it's continued into week 9 where penalty after penalty, and you're going, to go for 2 points from the 25-yard line. It's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, and they work on it week in and week out because they pay such attention to detail in that coaching staff that's something they're focused on. So it's eating them alive that it still continues to be an issue.
Don't be complacent, right? And that's sometimes where it can get, when you're successful and you do things really well and you don't have a lot of competitive games, that complacency can set in, but you can't allow that to be a thing as a player. And this is where the leadership comes in. These 10 seniors need to get after it.
Yep. So we got a 1st and 10 for the Mill River Minutemen on the 41-yard line. It's going to be a quick handoff to Terrio. Terrio's going to be met up the middle there. Oh, that was 64. That was big Steve Joslin just kind of swallowing him up there.
Yeah, Stephen James gets another hand in there. But yeah, big Joslin and Lovell.
Lovell, yep. Brockton Lovell was in on that play as well. Lovell and Joslin have done a nice job on the interior tonight.
Yeah, nothing big, right? Nothing. I mean, they've clogged it up really well.
Yeah, Terrio hasn't had many places to go. The one big run where he broke a couple tackles. Other than that, it's been pretty much bottled up in there. Cavallari's going to be on the throw. That's going to be dropped or maybe knocked down by Saul James out there.
Yeah, I think Saul, he got a hand on that one in there. That's better read, better coverage.
Yep, he jumped that, got a hand on it. Nice play by Saul. Saul played great in the second half last week. He had a tough first half, but he really did a nice job in the second half of the Terriers.
He did, and I had a chance to talk to Solly this week, and it's funny because when we were calling that game and it was late with a couple minutes to go and that ball bounced off his hands, you and I both were jumping in the back of that truck thinking he had the game winner to the house.
Absolutely.
And, he did too. And it's all, he's a great kid, and he works really hard at all the stuff he does. And
3rd and 10 here for the Minutemen. We're going to have a flag on the play. Going to have a little, still going to have a hit on the play because I guess the whistle didn't quite get heard. But so let's see I think we must have a false starts here because it was before the play. Or an illegal formation even. Nope, false start. It's going to be 3rd and 20 here for 3rd and 15 for the Minutemen. So that's tough in these conditions, trailing. But, they've got the passing game. We've seen Cavalieri throw a nice ball tonight. Whether the connections can happen or not, it's there's other elements going on to that tonight. But we'll see what they can dial up.
Yeah, you got to think right here. This is going to be some kind of zone package. We could see this here with Goyette and James down this way with Connors and Hill and Bazin at the top. Tostrup, back off the line of scrimmage a little bit here. Seems to be creeping up. Watch the flats. Back. Don't let anything, but make the tackle. Make the first. The first guy's got to make the tackle.
Absolutely. Cavalieri is going to be a little RPO action. Terrell's going to keep it. Terrell's going to make a couple guys miss and pick up a couple yards. Brockton Lovell, 6-7 yards downfield, makes the tackle for the Terriers. Good pursuit by Lovell to chase that down.
James again, sticking his.
Yep, Solly James was
sticking
there
his monster frame in there, as he likes to call himself, which, as we know, isn't accurate.
No.
But again, I've had an opportunity to grow up with his dad, my entire life in this James family, and they're another family that's with their grandfather and Jeff and Jared and now Saul, like the Leasey's and the Haskells, and these guys that have just put unbelievable athletes on this field every year.
Yep, year after year. So we got 4th and 9 here for Mill River. Cavalieri steps back to throw it. It's up in the air. That's going to be caught in front of Reed Hill, about the 12-yard line there. That was just kind of thrown up.
Yeah, again, the benefit of replay here for us. Reed Hill's got to step in and make that play. That ball was up in the air for a long time. And Hill was in position. Kind of seemed to wait for, trainer to make the catch there.
That's what that prevent defense is there for.
You got to have those plays.
So Mill River 1st and 10 here, about the 14-yard line. Cavalieri's going to throw it again. That one's going to be dropped by number 3, Jack Bolger over the middle.
So as on this drive alone, we've now seen Cavalieri settle in a little bit. Snaps seem to be a little better. Hands are maybe warmed up a little bit, but they're picking that left side over there. It looks like Studley's defense has gone to Davignon instead of Reed Hill on that left side, maybe to try to shore that up a little bit.
Yeah. Looks like Bazin's shading that way as well. It's Cavalieri in the shotgun again, 2nd and 10. He's going to hand that off to Terry O'Connor. Perry makes the immediate contact, but he breaks free from that, and then he's met by Tostrup and Stephen James after that. Picks up about a yard, maybe 2.
Yeah, Connor Perry slows him down just enough. Again, you want that hold just a little bit longer to make that play. And Coach Allen's, given the analysis today of Terrio and having missing a couple of games and still getting 1,000 yards, like this kid's running hard, Joe. And he's also taking some pretty big licks.
Absolutely,
and he once that pile gets up, he bounces right up, and a pretty tough kid.
3rd and 10 for the Minutemen, with Cavalieri in the shotgun again. Clean snap here, gets it off. Terrio takes the handoff. It's going to pick up about 5-6 yards. It's going to be Stevie Joslin on the tackle for the Terriers.
And with a minute 42 to go in the first half, we see some emotion from the Terriers. Finally, Big Steve and Tostrup, the fist pumping and the headbutts, and this is what they need. Somebody's got to bring some juice to this sideline. Again,
because this is a big play right here.
The last 2 games in the first half, I can't be overly impressed with the body language I've seen from Bells Falls.
Right. And this is a huge play right here. We talked about how a touchdown makes this a game. It's 4th and 10. There's a minute 20 to go. You stop them here, you go in up 3 scores. You get the ball to start the second.
And it is. You're absolutely right. The swing, this momentum too. Some right. Like if Bellows Falls makes a stop, gets the ball back, gets that touchdown. If Mill River can get this touchdown right here, and make this a game, who knows?
Right.
It's then it's going to be up to the Kakachi and that defense to come up and make some plays for the Minutemen in the second half.
Yep. It all kind of comes down to this play right here for momentum-wise. And, Bells Falls needs someone to step up. This is where the body language could change because they know this is a momentum change. You just saw Stevie Joslin on the third down play.
Get some fire. Bolger and Trainer. We got 3 receivers to the right here. I still think this goes, Terrio's one-on-one on the left on Davignon. That's, no safety help over the top unless James is going to creep that way.
Looks like Saul might be back there because they've moved Patty Connors out the other way. It's going to be a throw out there. Basin got his hands on it, knocked it down. So it's going to be a turnover on possession. So great coverage that time.
And now's where can you weather the storm? We saw this last week with Woodstock. You and I said, hey, if Woodstock scores here and gets the balls back and scores again, they're looking at being up 35 points in running time.
Right.
If Mill River lets Bellows Falls get one of those, Basin, that dynamic duo, one of those takes this, 80-something, 85, 90 yards to the house, and then gets the ball back. It's
change the game big time.
Things change, drastically for them.
Yeah, 100%. We'll see what the Bells Falls does here. 1st and 10 on their 12-yard line. Connor's in motion. Leasai's going to throw it to him. Oh, off his fingertips. Great play.
That's that wheel route we saw just missed last week.
Yeah, that was almost
Leasai just missed one off of Patty's hands, and it's only the second or third time we've seen that play since the one time they ran it against Springfield early in the year that got him a touchdown. Yep. But again, great spot for Leasai. Puts the ball on just outside the fingertips, right?
Yeah.
We saw Ferguson creeping over on defense right there, but he wasn't going to make that pick. So good spot, good throw. Hey,
off the fingertips on a wet day. Great job. No turnover. We'll see what happens here on 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10 with 1:12 to go. Leasai under center for the Terriers. It's going to be a handoff here to Basin. Basin's going to be met right at the line of scrimmage, then kind of drags the guy for a yard or two, but definitely nothing on the big play front from the Terriers' running game so far today.
Yeah, it looks to me like, and again, thanks to Will and Tech Jim and Alex and everybody, we get to see some of these replays. These guys the second level blocking, that's for 7 games was the best in the state. The last 2 weeks, again, we're sitting in a nice cozy studio with some waters and and not getting soaked on and beat on every day, but that ability to get that block to the next level, Tostrup and James and the push from Rumroll and the push from Stevie and the push from Ryland and Cam Perry and drive your guys back, that 5 or 6 yards like they've done all year. Now we need James to chip that guy.
Right.
We saw a little bit in that Fairhaven game earlier this year where those chips weren't coming in the first half and they really struggled.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Tostrup and Goyette's had some great blocks this year. If they're going to go too tight, Kissel can block people. Big frame. But, get that 3-4 yards down, and that's where Basin, because once Basin and Connors hit that corner a little bit, it's all over.
Right. But you're right, Nate. They haven't quite had that same push the last 6 quarters or so here, and and maybe it's weather conditions or whatever else. But I'd like to see that come back. Leasai under center here, fires this one out here. It's over the head of Connors. Another good throw, but it's going to bring up a 4th and 9 for the Terriers with 50 seconds to go.
Yeah, good. You got to hit the punt team here.
Yeah, he took a shot.
Yeah. Again, Leasai puts the ball out there where his guy's going to get it or nobody's going to get it. Weather certainly plays a factor, but the Terriers' routes on that play weren't as crisp as probably they needed to be. So you give your quarterback a better chance to make a play, right? You're rounding your route off and rounding things off doesn't make it easier. Plant your foot. I know it's slippery, but plant that foot and make a hard cut so your quarterback has something to do.
Harper will be back deep to punt for the Terriers. Punted well last week in the Woodstock game. Tough call out here. First time on the field to have to catch a ball and punt it, but Harper does a nice job. Gets the ball out to midfield. a very nice punt. You know, I mean, you say that a lot about baseball. You got to come into a game and it's certain conditions. The kid's been standing on the sidelines this whole first half. He's got to come in and catch a slick ball on a punt that's down in his own deep end zone. That's a hard thing to do. So great job by Harper on that.
Yeah, he's been able to change field positions a lot in some big situations. The Fairhaven game and that Woodstock game last week. Some of these games that have been a little bit tighter, he swung that field position. Terriers better be careful here and make sure
they don't give up
any big ones.
Cavallari's going to line up in the center. He's got 4 wide here. Tight end kind of an H-back position. Cavallari slings it out here. It's going to be knocked down by Saul James. Got another hand on one.
That's a little bit of that seam route that we talked about. Great job by Saul getting up there and getting a hand on that.
Acted like he'd seen it before that time. I think he's going to jump it and catch one of these sooner or later, though. Boy, he's had his hands on a lot of balls, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, just the growth we've had from him at the beginning of the year. We never called number 2 Saul James to just how hard he's worked to be better.
Yeah, he's made a lot of good plays for this defense. That ball's going to get loose on Cavallari. He's going to pick it up. Connor Perry in pursuit. Boy, that's probably going to have to be a grounding penalty, I would assume. Maybe I don't know the grounding penalties here in high school, but there was nobody near. Maybe he's outside of the pocket there, I guess.
Yeah, it's tough with a fumbled snap like that. But yeah, you called it. Definitely inside the tackle box.
There it is. Yep. Great pursuit by Connor Perry right there.
Yeah, and look, can't fault. Cavallari's got to make that catch in the pocket there, but take that. Sling that thing out of bounds rather than taking yourself getting pounded by Connor Perry.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to lose the yards one way or the other.
Yeah, it's don't take the hit.
So 30 seconds to go here. I'd imagine Mill River's going to try to just kind of let the clock run out here. Cavallari, he's going to sling it anyways.
They got something working over to that left side.
Dabbing on coverage.
Yep, now you're going to run into 4th down. You're going to give the ball back to the Terriers, who are going to have at least another play on offense, and it only takes one.
Yep.
Haven't seen it much. Haven't seen it tonight, but
looks like Mill River will punt for the first time tonight too.
Yeah, and Joe, I got to think that with Bazin drying his hands off right here, he might want to just go get this thing, even if it's on the ground, because if he can pick it up and make some headway,
right.
He's going to give the Terriers a long touchdown.
Clean snap, clean kick. Looked like Bazin wanted to go for it.
Yeah, he wanted to go after that one.
Looked like he took a second thought about it.
Yeah, maybe he was getting some
number
verbal
3, Jack Bolger.
Encouragement from the sideline somewhere, but
number 3, Jack Bolger was down in the area, so maybe that scared him away.
Yeah, that definitely looked like one that Bazin could have picked up and tried to take to the house, but it could have had a fire call coming from the sideline to just let that go.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 1st and 10 here, just under 10 seconds to go. See if the Terriers run a play or if
looks like they're gonna
victory formation and go to half.
Take a knee and go to the half.
It's the right call at this point. I mean, it's the conditions wise, you're up 18-0 now. You get the ball back to start the second half. Get to the break here. Kind of dry off a little bit, yourself a little bit. Get fired up and come back out here and do what the Terriers do and see if they can't move on and advance to the semifinals.
Yeah,
would be the next round.
Yeah,
so.
I wouldn't. I gotta be honest, Joe. I wouldn't have minded. I know the conditions aren't ideal, but some sort of reverse or something that maybe you haven't done a ton of this year that got Patty or Jaden out into some space.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a ton of house calls.
Right.
But again, we're not there. We're sitting in this cozy studio with our drinks and notepads, and it looks miserable out there. So yeah, get to the locker room, 18-0 lead, and not pretty, but again, let's say the defense has really held them, besides a couple of pass plays down there.
Yeah, defense has executed its game plan pretty well. Offensively, they're still looking for that big play, but they have sustained a couple of drives here or there. It is what it is. It's kind of ugly weather conditions out there. Terriers up 18-0. So we'll see you at the turn of the second half here for the second half of Vermont playoff football. Oh.
That was 2 hours away. I don't know, it was colder. It was a little wet now, but it was colder.
Okay, so don't do that then.
I'm gonna be further. I'll give you 40 and I bought you a one. And I got you stuff for tomorrow. I'm not stuffing it. This is not giving space. Actually, the aftertaste is kind of nice. I'll give you 40 plus I got stuff for your things. 35. 30. 20. What? You can learn how to get one if you want. Well. You did? Yeah, that would be terrible. You see the kid that slid down the grass? It's like a slide.
I saw that over there.
Really? I'll give it over there. Oh, that half kind of dragged out, didn't it? Hey, Sam, you wanna get back? careful. Imagine what those players are feeling out there. In touch with your own needs and feelings.
This Bellows Falls Union High School sports broadcast is brought to you by Falls Area Community Television, serving Southern Vermont and Keene, New Hampshire. We would also like to thank the community members who donated, making this broadcast possible. If you would like to have continued coverage of high school sports and other local events in your town, then go to fact8.com and click the donation button. This broadcast will begin shortly. The Bellows Falls Union High School Booster Club needs your support. Check out their Facebook page to get updates. Players and family members, if you want a highlight reel created, then contact Tech Gym Sports. For more information, go to techgym.net and fill out a request.
Bellows Falls, ever glorious. Bellows Falls, to you we sing. Bellows Falls, ever victorious. Your praises ever ring. On the field of conflict, we will fight for the right. We'll be loyal ever to the purple and the white.
This Bellows Falls Union High School sports broadcast is brought to you by Falls Area Community Television, serving Southern Vermont and Keene, New Hampshire. We would also like to thank the community members who donated, making this broadcast possible. If you would like to have continued coverage of high school sports and other local events in your town, then go to fact8.com and click the donation button. This broadcast will begin shortly. The Bellows Falls Union High School Booster Club needs your support. Check out their Facebook page to get updates. Players and family members, if you want a highlight reel created, then contact Tech Gym Sports. For more information, go to techgym.net and fill out a request.
Bellows Falls, ever glorious. Bellows Falls, to you we sing. Bellows Falls, ever victorious. Your praises ever ring. On the field of conflict, we will fight for the right. We'll be loyal ever to the purple and the white.
This Bellows Falls Union High School sports broadcast is brought to you by Falls Area Community Television, serving Southern Vermont and Keene, New Hampshire. We would also like to thank the community members who donated, making this broadcast possible. If you would like to have continued coverage of high school sports and other local events in your town, then go to fact8.com and click the donation button. This broadcast will begin shortly. The Bellows Falls Union High School Booster Club needs your support. Check out their Facebook page to get updates. Players and family members, if you want a highlight reel created, then contact Tech Gym Sports. For more information, go to techgym.net and fill out a request.
Bellows Falls, ever glorious. Bellows Falls, to you we sing. Bellows Falls, ever victorious. Your praises ever ring. On the field of conflict, we will fight for the right. We'll be loyal ever to the purple and the white.
This Bellows Falls Union High School sports broadcast is brought to you by Falls Area Community
All right, and
Television,
welcome back to the
serving
second half
Southern
coverage
Vermont and Keene,
here on
New
Falls
Hampshire.
Area Community Television's Bells Falls playoff game. Take a moment here before we start the second half. I want to thank Will Simino from Tech Gym Sports for his excellent camera work tonight in the conditions. He's the only member of our team actually out braving the elements today inside the studio here today. We've had great work from Alex and his son Bryce helping keeping us going here. So just want to give some shout outs to everyone for helping make this production what it is.
Yeah, it's great. These guys are awesome every single week, all year long. And, as Alex and Bryce were in here to us talking about, doing some stuff in the wintertime and, a little tougher for me coaching over at the Den with the Wildcats. But, this production and everything that we've been able to do has just been so awesome. And the community support has been unbelievable. And God, can't thank these guys enough.
Absolutely. And for me, it's been awesome to be a part of this. I mean, having been a Fall Mountain kid, I've kind of been accepted into this Bellows Falls football community this year. A lot of positive thoughts, and it's actually been kind of nice. And it's really been fun to see really how this program does function, because it's wild from the Pee Wee. You see it as a Pee Wee kid. Like, I'm seeing the stuff that I was running as a Pee Wee running back out there still in this game. So it's just pretty impressive and wild to be part of. So I'm pretty grateful to that. But now let's get back to what we saw in that first half, Nate. What are you looking for the Terriers here in the second half? They come out with the ball up 18-0.
Again, I would gotta think that they, the secondary blocking from some of those guys, whether it's Bazin for Connors and Connors for Bazin and Steph James and Tostrup and Goyette and, Kissel, these other guys, the offensive line still pushing, working hard. But they've got to maintain, hold those blocks a little bit longer, get that push and get that drive down the field. And, I got to think that, one of these guys in that dynamic duo backfield of Bazin and Connors is about ready to explode for one.
Yeah.
Which, we saw it to be a second half last week. The body language changed, the vibe changed, the momentum changed, everything changed off a big hit, a big play. This Terrier sideline still seeming to be pretty flat, and even the fire on the guys in the field, we saw it out of Big Steve and Tostrup on the one play.
Right.
Like, where's the juice? Where's the flow? And I think it comes now. I think, Connors with the leadership with Lisi, I think, I got Bazin roughly with 11 carries for 75 yards, which he usually has in, a couple of runs. But, hey.
Or even a run.
Got to say, Minute Maid defense, the Minuteman, Mill River, they've played well.
It's been tough.
They've fought
tough yards.
Yeah, they have. They hit, they wrap, they tackle. They're doing the one thing we talk about BF doing.
Right.
First guy's making the hit, making the tackle.
Yeah, I mean, that credit to Mill River, because that's why the big play hasn't happened.
Yeah.
There's been holes, there's been opportunities, but Mill River has made that tackle.
Yeah, they've closed them down. I know, Coach has mentioned the middle linebackers all year long, how good they've been.
Trainer with the kickoff for the Minutemen. It's going to be received there by Pat Connors at about the 20-yard line. Patty Connors breaks a couple tackles, gets up to about the 45-yard line. Nice return by Patty Connors.
And right there, that's just maybe that one little bit that you need to get you in that position to now you're at midfield already. This is an opportunity for Bellows Falls to,
Absolutely.
Get one of those big plays.
I should be the most excited voice out here. There should definitely be people on that sideline a little more fired up than even I am. 1st and 10 from the 45 here for the Terriers. Lisi under center. Looks like a triple I formation. It might be offset. Can't quite tell from here, but looks like triple I. Going to give it to the deep man, Bazin. Bazin runs right up the chute. Oh, there it is. Then there it is, Nate. So Jaden Bazin on the first play from scrimmage, as we've said many, many times this season. makes a house call.
You know, I don't know what's happening in the huddles over there at the last couple of half times, but again, just the blocking, the body language itself, like
you talked about the second level. Stevie Joslin, Brockton Lovell, they were 5 yards downfield, still pushing guys.
That's what we're looking for, Joe. Those are the kind of blocks that you need, and this, you know, could be some of that wear and tear, right? These bumps and bruises at Mill River, you go sit over there at halftime, and it's like, ooh, okay, that stinger hurts a little bit more than I thought.
Right, and now it's raining, it's cold, it's you know, you're in a hole, and you're getting beat up by some physical guys. So these are definitely hard times right now. Leasai on the quarterback keeper, and this is going to be an executed 2-point conversion. So that's a big thing.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it, Joe, but I'll tell you, they got to be. Coach Lockerbie's got to be a little fired up. Hey, we executed one of these finally.
Yeah, and you know, Leasai doesn't get to throw the ball a lot, but the Terriers run a lot of this, like counter action and stuff like that. He handles the football really well for the stuff he's asked to do back there. Like right there, that was kind of that RPO, little play action rollout or whatever. Ball didn't move at all within his hands. He confidently handled it. They ask him to do a lot of stuff like that because of the quick hitter offense they run, and he does an excellent job with that.
He does, and you mentioned it right last week in the first quarter of the Woodstock game. Second snap of the game hit the ground, and both of us, you know, eyes went the size of $50 and said, we haven't seen that all season either. Leasai has been so smooth and so clean with it, and you know, weather-based, we get it some, so you know, cut a little slack with some of these, but you know, you're right. I mean, how many snaps has he taken this year that have been clean? 99%.
Yeah. And then just to hide the ball and hand it to the right guy at the right time. And Steve Joslin with another kickoff down to the 15-yard line. Number 11, Gavin Trainer, on the return for the Minutemen. He's going to be just met by a wall of Terriers, kind of led by number 55, Garrett Haskell there. Kind of looked like he made the initial contact for the Terriers, but it was a wall of Terriers. The Briar Barnett and Garrett Haskell and another Ben Rummel in there. So nice job by tackling the Terriers here.
Yeah, just the body language. We can hear Coach Lockerbie in our headsets here. He's fired up. He knows what this means, and he knows that his guys have been flat in the first 4 quarters of the last 2 games, and you know, he's got to dig it out of them sometimes. It's a long season.
Right, absolutely. And this is tough times in conditions like that to get everyone motivated, but certainly does. Connor Perry immediately in the backfield there on the carry to Terrio. So Terrio's going to pick up maybe a yard at the most there, but again, Connor Perry, we've called him out a lot tonight. He has jumped the gap a lot. Brockton Lovell was in there to help finish up the tackle as well. But Connor Perry's played a great game tonight. Yeah,
and in Adam, you know, just the scrappiest guy. It's again, I've said it twice already. It's hard for me to not see him going to that North-South game, but you know, we don't get the vote from the studio,
right.
Joe.
Right. Cavallari will line up in the shotgun, 2nd and 10 here. That's going to be a false start penalty on the Minutemen. That's number 44, Rylan Carlton, on the false start for the Minutemen. So that's going to back him up 5 yards.
And I know we haven't said Carlton's name a lot, but back to my conversation with Coach Allen earlier, Carlton he got the Freshman of the Week award this week for his work.
Yeah.
Freshman, 2-way starter. Coach Allen is loving what he's getting out of this kid this year. You know, and I bet that he's made some of those plays we've kind of seen in the wash there. We haven't called his name, but I bet you he's been sticking his nose in there all night.
Yeah, I guarantee it too. And we're going to have another throw here by Cavallari on the RPO. It's going to be thrown out of bounds over his head. Good coverage by Davignon there. So the RPO action a little bit here. I believe that was 19 Davignon out there. Yep, that's 19. So Brody Davignon, good coverage there.
Yeah, and we know, you know, this benefits if the snaps are clean and Cavallari can get the ball clean. He's had some nice throws, you know, and that's one of those plays where the offense knows where they're going, the defense has to figure it out, right?
Absolutely.
And Brody did a good job with, you know, coming back and making sure that he was in a good position to at least make the tackle.
Right. So we got 3rd and 15 here. Cavallari in the shotgun again. Going to sling it out here to the left side again.
Oh, what a play.
Did he pick that off? So that's number 19. That's Brody Davignon out there.
What a play.
He might have intercepted
That's
that
a
ball.
great play.
But he's going to be down.
Unbelievable.
That'd be his third interception. I think that's an interception.
What a, I mean, that's
Unbelievable.
He had a great interception last week and ended up getting stripped at the 2-yard
Yeah,
line in that Woodstock game. But
And then he had
Brody
one in-
Vignon coming out of nowhere, making some plays for the Terriers down the stretch here. Nice play.
I think his other one came in the Fairhaven game.
Yeah, he's done a really
So that's
good
the last
wow.
3-4 weeks. He's stepped right up and he's created some turnovers for the Terriers. Great job by Brody Davignon. Wow. Just absolutely stole that ball.
He took it right out of his hand.
Well,
Great play.
a whole different team here in the first minute and a half of the second half.
Yeah, and we just saw Carlton, who we were just praising how hard he's played all day today. Again, those bumps and bruises from those big guys. Probably he's went to the sideline. Hopefully he's coming back in here.
Yeah, that offensive line of Cam Perry and Ben Rumroll and Stevie Joslin and Brockton Lovell and Rylan Ernst, this is the time they're waiting for. It's cold. It's time to get physical and finish this game out. And talk about finishing this game out. That's an 8-yard run that should have been tackled at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, 71. James Alt he makes the
Wow.
hit at the line of scrimmage. Bazin drags him for 9 yards. I mean,
Wow. You can't teach the way he runs. You can't teach that. That's just natural instincts to be able to lower your shoulder, to run through tackles. That's a different level, man.
yeah, it is. It's impressive.
So Leaside will be under center, 2nd and 1 here for the Terriers. Clean snap, gets it to the backfield. Looks like, what do we got here? Is this Patty Connors? Yep, Patty Connors streaking down the left side, makes a little cutback, gets tripped up about the 10-yard line, I guess. Nice little kick out by Bazin and Tostrip out there. Stephen James running along with him.
Yeah, those are those lead blockers, right? Those are the guys we've been talking about.
Absolutely.
Get them out there. Yeah, we saw that replay back, and it looked like maybe.
Well, it looks like we got a penalty coming.
Ben Rumroll, that guy coming through, and that linebacker coming in through a little bit late, and he a little takedown there. I think we got a holding on Rumroll on that play.
All right, so it's going to back up the Terriers. Takes away the long play by Patty Connors. It's going to set up a little 2nd down and about 10 or so for the Terriers now.
Yeah, this wouldn't be a bad time for a little toss sweep to Bazin here, either right on that wide side.
Yep. Leaside under center here, 2nd and 10, 9.5 to go. 3rd quarter. Oh, it's going to be the fake sweep.
James up the middle again.
Handed to Stephen James, picks up another 7 or 8 yards. Hard running night for Stephen James tonight. Impressive game for the kid.
Yeah, he's done really well. Got a touchdown in there, and his yards per carry are pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Terriers come up with here on 3rd and 4. Certainly starting to impose a little bit of their will on that offensive line, get a good push here. It's going to be Pat Connors, the quick hitter right up the right side. He cuts it back up the center, but that hole was created by Brockton Lovell, Stevie Joslin, and Rylan Ernst, and then Patty Connors just cut right back and scores from about 45 yards out for another long touchdown. His 2nd score of the game for the Terriers. Quickly 32-0.
Opened that hole right up that right side of the line, blew those guys back, and James came through and took that safety, out of the play, and Connors with a nice cutback run for the touchdown.
And we see he's waving off the thing, so he didn't do the number 1 finger this time. So.
Yeah, Patty, I think knew. He's, but I think he's one mistake is enough for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So 32-0 here. Terriers go for 2. I'm thinking they're going for 2. I haven't actually seen them. It doesn't look like Cam Perry has the kicking block out there. So Leaside runs in with the play call. Different feel here in the second half, Nate.
We saw it last week, but I don't, all these games that we've called this year, and to wait, these last 2 weeks to have
the last 2 weeks to have the first half
on it. The last 2 weeks to just have the first halves they've had is just
after what we saw the first 6 weeks,
Yeah,
where they
it's-
came out firing on all cylinders to start games. And
you know, and you know, everybody thought, hey, BF will be, you know, they'll be angry, they'll be mad. You come out and, you know, they'll be mad. They lost to Woodstock, a tough game, and even the first half today, kind of that, you know, just like trying to run in quicksand. And
yep.
second half come out, and it's been all Terriers.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned at halftime there, you might be faster than Patty Connors was today. Not on that run, mate.
No. Patty looked like he was running mud there in the first half, and not so much anymore.
No, that one, he was pretty quick on that one. Coach Lockerbie over here, he's wearing the weather pretty well.
32-0, 8:50 to go. You know, this is you're getting borderline with a stop and another touchdown where we're going to see that running time.
Yep.
You know, it feels like the game's been closer. Mill River's played really hard.
They really have.
You got guys, you know, down. We've got some injuries, cramps. Ferguson's gone out. Trainer's gone out. We just saw, you know, Carlton, you know, head to the bench, and
Yep.
just the
We've seen
relentless
Salzman
attack
a
from
couple
Bellows
times
Falls
down.
sometimes just can wear you down.
Joslin will boot another one here. That one's down to about the 10, where it's kind of dropped down there by number 3. That's Jack Bolger. And he just kind of runs parallel and gets out of bounds there after the drop. So they're going to start deep in their own territory here, Mill River is. Probably about the 7 or 8 yard line. Kind of cut off that corner a little bit there.
Good job by Colton Colburn, senior, getting down there, making another special teams play.
A couple of them tonight.
He's made a ton of them all season long. You know, if that's the only time we've called his name for the most part, it's okay, because, you know, as good as this team can be, you know, that's what we like to see.
Yep, make the plays when you're given the chance, and he's made those plays on special teams. I know in the Fairhaven game he had a big special teams tackle. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember calling it out. And so he's definitely another one of these guys that's just, when he's had the opportunity, he's been put in the position to make the play. He's made the play.
Yeah.
And you can't speak enough about the level of preparedness these kids have to be able to step up and make the play when they're put in that position.
Yeah, you know, right before that timeout by Mill River, Cam Saunders and Carter Harper, you know, replaced James and another player out in the field as substitutes. I wouldn't be surprised with this weather to start to see some of that, especially if Bellows Falls can make a stop here and one more touchdown, put you into that running time kind of range, and, you know, get some of these guys out of there and see if they can run this thing right down to, you know, get that running time and allow some of those guys, those JV guys who had an unbelievable season, you know, to
give them some experience and, you know, kind of, you know, not to be, you know, too cautious here, but, you know, you don't want to lose a guy to an injury on a wet field like this. In a game you're up 40-something nothing.
You definitely don't want anybody hurt, either freshman or through anybody, you know, but, you know, you want these guys to play this out and have an opportunity to get this, you know, this running time. Mill River's not going to give up. Promise you that.
Colburn's out there on the field now. Mill River's Cavallari takes the handoff back to Terrio. Much of the same, though. Terrio's met by a series of Terriers in the backfield. Number 30, Connor Perry again. Looks like he's the first one in there. And then Jacob Kissels and Stevie Joslin to finish it up. Nice job. Garrett Haskell's in there as well.
Yeah, it looks like 54, Peyton Haskins. We got it looks like, for the most part, we got some full-scale subs on defense for Bellows Falls. We still
Goyette
Connor Perry.
and Connor Perry out there. Solly
James is still out there. Goyette. So yeah, we
can't
still
tell
got
if it's
some guys
Davignon
out there.
still. Garrett Haskell's out there right now. He starts and doesn't. I think he's like the first guy off the bench when they rotate. And that's going to be slung out there and dropped by Bolger.
Yeah, Garrett's been a nice fill-in. He's had some. We saw late in that Woodstock game last week that, and even several games this year, where he's had quarterback pressures, quarterback sacks, tackles in the backfield.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the team leader in sacks. He's had 5 or 6 of them.
He's had a lot of nice plays for them. Again, just another guy that, you know, doesn't get his name in the paper, that shows up to practice every day and works hard. And, you know, Garrett Garrett's a senior this year, and he's again, he was a water boy when I played Pee Wee football
Yeah.
many moons ago, and he's a great kid that works really hard, and his dad Joe was a very good running back and linebacker for the Bellows Falls Terriers, years ago too. So.
Yeah. So we'll see what Mill River can dial up here. 3rd and 15, deep in their own end zone. 7.5 to go in the third quarter. Cavallari fumbles the snap around a little bit, throws it out there. It's going to be underthrown, and Saul James is going to bat that away. Great job by Saul not to try to pick that one off, because that's not one you can really pick off. That's exactly what you're going to do, knock it down.
Those are the kind of plays he needed to make, especially at this point in the game. But Peyton Haskins with the pressure. Big hand
good,
up there.
Good call, Nate. Fighting right through 3 guys.
Yeah, nice work by Haskins on that.
Absolutely. Good catch, Nate.
James bats it down, that punting situation. So we'll see. We'll see what the Terriers do offensively. I would assume that this will be the first team one more time to get, try to get that, not to run it up, because, Bob and the coaching staff of Bellows Falls isn't a team that runs it up, but, to get it to that running clock, to try to get guys out of this just disastrous weather.
Right. And then once you're in the running clock, just the game gets to move along a lot faster. So I would agree with you, Nate. I think they'll run that first team out here one more time, or at least a high percentage of the first team. Maybe they'll sub a couple guys here or there, but it's going to be a punt down to Saul James. Saul James catches it about the 40-yard line. Nice little return here by Saul. He makes a couple guys miss. He's fighting back for some yardage and going to be down and going to be inside the 20-yard line here.
Nice run by Saul. He finally get a chance for a punt return.
Yep.
These teams have waited so long to not have Bazin back there, and they kick it to James, and he gets him a good 30-yard return.
Absolutely. Great catch in the weather. Puts the ball in the right hand, running down that left sideline. A lot of things to like in that little play right there. Saul James is definitely, he's got a high IQ out there playing this game.
Yeah, so you have all starters back in offensively. This is kind of what we figured. Looks like Mill River's going to call the second timeout here already in the second half. That's, just getting to that point where Coach Allen's trying to keep his guys, hey, don't give up. You got to keep fighting, and everything's against you here. The Terriers have come out and played their brand of football here in the second half. But we still got a lot of time to go, in this second half. So don't give up and keep fighting out there. And
Absolutely. We've seen that from pretty much everyone Bellows Falls has played. They've played right to the end. They've played as hard as they can. Sometimes you're just, you don't match up well.
Yeah, and it doesn't appear that Coach Allen's group has got a ton of bodies left over there on that sideline either. This is, besides that Woodstock game last week after week after week, we've seen. By the time at this time in the game, other teams are pretty beat up.
Yeah.
And this is where you start to assert that dominance as that, huge offensive line with Ernst and Perry and just, the Hogs up front and these guys just making, now it's the 7-8 yard blocks.
Right. And we're seeing it. We're seeing them downfield. We're seeing the second level. We're seeing what we expect a little bit more here. Lee under center, 1st and 10. Looks like he's going to keep it on the option. Going to get down, going to pick up 4 or 5 yards. They took the pitch away, so he just kept it there. But again, just a nice job, handling the football. It's tough weather conditions out there, and option's not an easy play to run. Your ball's exposed as you're running down the line there. And Leaside he really does a nice job making sure that things are in the right place.
Yeah, and now we've seen as the Terriers are creeping in towards the end zone a little bit. Connor Perry in the backfield with Barnett and Harper.
Yep.
Still got the big guys up front, but we're starting to see some subs filter in for the purple offense.
On senior night here, Connor Perry, a couple carries would be, maybe get in for 6 on senior night. And looks
right
like
on cue, Joe. Good call.
Right off that right side, that's the play we've called for Jaden Bazin a lot this year, where Ernst and Lovell just kind of put their guys down the field 7-8 yards, and then you got Harper right there putting his helmet on guys at the goal line, and Perry goes in. So that's Connor Perry, Stephen James. They've had fantastic senior night games tonight for sure.
Yeah, they've all done a nice job. Cam Perry side of the field, that left side,
absolutely.
we've gone. Connors has gone that way a few times behind, big 72 making some plays.
It looks like we went behind Cam Perry again there. Looks like Briar Barnett's going to get in for 2. I think I saw the hands go up. Yeah, good push there by Rumroll and Cam Perry and Stevie Joslin, and Barnett runs right behind him.
Yeah, it's just now you're in that range where hopefully, look, this is for, all, we didn't count the guys on the rosters here, but 60 players that are out here today. Everybody gets out of here healthy, right? Let's finish this thing off and, get everybody out of here with an opportunity to get up tomorrow and,
100%
hit the cold tub. And for a Thursday, you probably get some more film, even for Mill River. Hey, Coach Allen, who's going to coach the South team, I'm sure he'll look at this with his staff and, hey, what adjustments can we make? It was 18-0 in the first half, and we were right there.
Right.
And a play here, a play there, and this is still a ball game. So
Stevie Joslin to kick off for the Terriers here. He's done a great job tonight. Everything's been down around the 15 to 10-yard lines. Another boot. That's going to get down to about the 15-yard line again. Gavin Trainer with the catch makes the guy miss. Gets a nice return out to about the 35-yard line. So good starting field position for Mill River. One of their better returns they've had on the day.
Yeah, Trainer's done a nice job.
Looks like Reed Hill on the tackle.
A little dinged up earlier in the game, and he's come back in to make a couple of nice plays for Mill River.
Absolutely. So defensively out there, we got 54, Peyton Haskins still out there. Timmy Fletcher, number 75, is in the game. 83, Colton Colburn. Number 7, looks like Cooper Lovell's in the secondary here as well.
Yeah, good learning experience. You mentioned it before. We've seen times in this league, even that Mount Mansfield game, where the second unit gave up a lot of big plays. Let's see these guys make some plays, right? Feed off of the energy in the second half. Come out here and have, Cooper or one of these other guys make a play for the second group. Would be great.
Absolutely. Cavallari in the shotgun here. Or more like the pistol formation. Their handoffs to Terrio. Terrio breaks the tackle, but still not much to gain there. Number 44, Caden Prue, I see over there on the pile. See who made the initial. It looks like Prue made the initial contact.
Yeah, Carter Harper forcing that outside, doing a good job. That containment we've talked about, not letting guys bounce outside. He made him stretch it all the way to the sideline.
Yep, never turn
which
it up.
allowed, the other guys to come up and, Prue to come up and make a tackle, which is, what you're looking for.
Absolutely. 2nd and 9 here, 4.5 minutes to go in the running clock. Cavallari in the, it's more like a pistol than the shotgun at this point as he's flanked. Little formation change here. I haven't really seen this formation where they got the inward-facing tight end before. This is a little new. This is going to be a sweep. That's Colton Colburn making a big tackle, and big Peyton Haskins is back there again. Haskins is wreaking a little havoc in his time here in the second half.
Haskins has a lot of experience and has worked hard. He's gone down and done some of those workouts with the big boys down there. And Haskins has really good IQ as a football player as well. I mean, you'd be surprised if you said he was a Pee Wee football player at Bellows Falls. I don't think he would be, but he played for that Jets team for Jared James along with Saul, Pat Connors, Connor Perry.
Yep.
But yeah, Haskins, nice work here.
Absolutely, great pressure on the interception or the Davignon interception. Great tackle there. Good job, Cavallari in the shotgun here. He's throwing it out deep here. It's going to be caught by number 10. That's Brandon Terrio. So Cavallari just kind of throwing that one up there. Who do we? That's we got Cooper Lovell on the coverage out there.
Yeah, Coop getting some work in today, freshman. Running back, defensive back here. And look, these guys probably a little bit nervous too, right? We're playing against the starting group of Mill River, and you want to go out there and press your coaches and make a play and, go work hard for this senior group and keep the shutout, right? Shutouts matter.
Absolutely does. It's a huge pride thing for sure. Cavallari back to throw again.
Oh, what a nice play by Saul James.
Yeah, Saul James, wow. Yeah, Saul's played a great game out there tonight.
Those are the plays we want to continue to see. in that coverage, right?
Yeah, get your hand
even
on
if
the
you
ball.
Even if you know you're beat, you can't get there, but just to get a hand in there and rip that thing down.
Yeah. Be in
Nice
position
job
to
by
make
Saul.
be in position to make the tackle if he does catch it. No, great game. He's played a great game out there in that secondary tonight. You've seen a lot of growth from the beginning of the season with what he's been able to do in the secondary.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna have a 2nd and 10 here for Mill River. Cavallari catches the short snap. Oh, he's down. That's Tim Fletcher? Tim Fletcher on the sack for the Terriers right there. Good pressure by number 75 right there. Just runs right up the gap.
A great job.
Colton Colburn was in there with him too.
Colburn ran the running back over and pushed him right back into the quarterback on that play, which was a nice play.
Absolutely. Great play by Colburn. Great play by Tim Fletcher. Tim Fletcher's made plays when he's had his opportunities this year as well. Special teams on defense in these second units. He's made some plays for this team.
He really has.
Ball's loose on the snap. Looks like Mill River's going to fall on top of it. Number 32 back there, Wyatt Tarbell.
Yeah, going to be about 4th and 20 here for Mill River. And, again, just everybody sees that clock moving. And just, like I said, let's get everybody out of here healthy.
Absolutely. I would assume a punting situation here for Mill River. No reason to do absolutely crazy things.
Yeah, swing the field position a little bit. I mean, you have the second unit for the Terriers out there and, make them work a little bit harder to get this touchdown.
But great job by the second unit there, maintaining the defense, not giving up big plays.
Oh, great pressure.
Yep, great pressure by Tim Fletcher there and Colton Colburn. Let's see what happens with the punt. Oh, the punter slips and falls, but he does get the boot off. Saul's going, that's a great boot considering the kid fell over.
Yeah, Dario goes down.
He falls over booting that thing, and he still boots it 40 yards. That's tremendous. When I fall over, things don't go that well.
Dario, who's had a rough game, right?
Yeah.
This guy's worked hard, punishing hits, delivering blows. The first drive of the game, he carried the ball 4 times for a first down, and he's had a lot of carries and a lot of hits and a lot of both sides of the ball. He's worked really hard tonight, and giving this Mill River team that 18-0 at the at halftime, and it's just kind of running out of gas here, which
and
again,
for him, he likes to run the ball between the tackles from what we've seen tonight. That's not really where you want to run the ball against this Terriers defense.
No, not tonight. They've again turned it around quite a bit, but as we progress here to this 4th quarter, Joe, we see that the Terriers will have this victory and have another chance for another home playoff game next week.
Yeah.
You got to fix this first half.
Yeah, got to come out fired up.
We've got to fix these first halves and find a way to get somebody to light that fire, right off the bat and set the tone. Maybe it's defensively, right? Maybe it's a Connor Perry sack. Maybe it's a Steph James. Maybe it's a Garrett Haskell sack or something in this first half to get these guys juiced up.
Right, because even last weekend's Woodstock, the 80-yard touchdown run on the first play didn't get him fired up. It just was like, another 80-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
We've seen this before.
Yep. And we've seen the complete change in body language from the 2 halves again.
Absolutely.
So.
And right now, we're seeing a fired up second unit right now that's getting an opportunity to make plays in a playoff game. So, there's a lot of pride on the line right now.
Yeah, there is. And Saul James hasn't had a lot of opportunities under center this year, but. Man, I'd love to see him do something special here. He's played really well for them all season long defensively.
Absolutely. So Saul James lines up under center for the Terriers. Handoff up the middle goes to 21. That's Carter Harper with a carry. Sophomore fullback, defensive back for the Terriers. Picks up 5 quick yards there on that quick hitter 30 play. Running clock here, so honestly the Terriers wouldn't even hate just controlling this ball till the end of this game at this point.
Yeah, you
get 5-6 first downs.
Again, I've been around this program since I was a child, and it's never been a program that runs it up on anyone. They're very respectful, and Coach Lockerby's not going to do that.
Right. So James under center, 2nd and 5. Handoff is up the middle. Big spin move by Briar Barnett there. Picks up, good chunk of yards, probably 10, 12 yards on that play.
Yeah, good secondary. Good bounces off and
Yep, breaks
nice
the
little
tackle
spin
there.
move and
Caden Prue with a nice block downfield there for him. Or no, it was Cam Saunders. Sorry, not Caden Prue. Cam Saunders with a nice downfield block.
yeah, it's second level blocking right there. You know, good job by the Terriers. Kissel coming from the other side and still holding a block on a linebacker.
Yeah. He does
8
a
yards
nice
down
job
the
out
field.
there. Saul James 1st and 10. That's going to be Connor Perry on the carry. He's going to run right off this right tackle. And he's certainly not going down without a fight. Connor Perry, I think he picked up a first down there. Or maybe that was the first down carry. It might be 2nd and 5 now.
Yeah, nice hard run. You know, we don't expect anything less than 101% out of
Yeah.
Connor Perry every single time he puts those pads on.
He doesn't seem to not go 100% at any point. His motor seems to always be going.
Yeah, great chance for him to get some looks too this senior game and get some work with the second unit.
Saul James under center here, 2nd and 4 for the Terriers. Going to be a quick hitter off the left side. That's number 10.
Jackson Fletcher.
Jackson Fletcher with the carry for the Terriers. Sophomore. I have him listed as a tight end, but he got in there as the like slot back position there that Pat Connors has done so well with this year.
Yeah, nice little kick out block again by Haskins.
Yeah, Haskins had a great second half here for the Terriers. Saul James.
Just a guy
moving
who's
the
going to fill
offense.
in one of these days, right?
Yeah.
You know, at the center position for Big Steve Joslin or Cam Perry next year as he graduates, or Rumroll. I mean, you're putting in still big guys that know how to play football.
Right. And have played their whole lives. Saul James under center, and a quick snap to Harper. Harper breaks free through the middle here. He's down to the 10, or the 15-yard line anyways. That's a quick hitter run for Carter Harper.
44 Caden Prue with a nice block, kicking that hole wide open
Yeah.
for Harper.
Yeah, Prue and Saunders, these guys are doing a nice job out there, getting a nice push, getting into that second level.
Yeah, this Mill River unit is probably running on fumes at this point.
Yep.
You know, these guys have played their tails off from the minute this thing started today, and you know, just running out of gas.
It's 1st and 10 on the 14-yard line. It's going to be handed off to, can't quite tell, he's in the middle there, but he's going to push forward to about the 4-yard line.
That's going to be Fletcher again.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Jackson Fletcher again. Nice. He runs hard. Jackson Fletcher running hard there in that slot back position. So we're going to have a 2nd and 1 here.
Nice little drive here by the second group. Again,
Yeah, great push.
you know, this Mill River team is, I praise, you know, Coach Allen and these kids for how hard they work, because this hasn't been easy.
Carter Harper again up the chute. And he's going to go in for the 6 for the Terriers. Impressive drive by Saul James in the second unit here.
Yes, the blocking up front.
You got,
Timmy Fletcher and
yep, you got 68
Josh
out there.
Rumroll, you know,
Yep,
getting
Josh
some work in
Rumroll
for his
making
first
work.
brother, and you know, these nice.
Peyton Haskins, they ran behind him 3 times there, right up the chute.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Haskins with a nice little second half here. Pressure on the quarterback, tackle for loss, almost in there for a fumble recovery.
Yep.
You know, people are running right behind him up the middle.
Saul James on the 2-point conversion, hands it off to Briar Barnett. I think he's not going to get in. I think someone made a tackle there to stop him just at the goal line. Nice tackle by Mill River there. We'll see on the replay who made the tackle for the Minutemen. Number 71, that's James Alt. James Alt with a nice tackle there to keep the Terriers out. 46-0 now. Just 7 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. So the second unit, again, will try to keep that shutout on the board, you know, keep that pride. And especially after that game that we did with Mount Mansfield, you know, the second unit really wants to perform well this time out. Because last time out, they didn't play up to what I'm sure their expectations were.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you know, the shutout aspect, which you said, which is huge for a team at home on senior night, that they want that. Mill River doesn't want that.
Right.
You know, they have pride too, and they're not going to just, you know, come out here for this last 7 minutes and, you know, take a knee or do anything. You know, they're going to go work hard and try to get a touchdown for their seniors. You know, this is their last game.
And their seniors were honored tonight as well. A nice thing that Bellows Falls does. honoring the opposing seniors. So those guys have something to fight for still too. This is the last game.
Yeah, a couple of north-south guys too, like I mentioned, with Moody and Patch for Mill River, and coach is going to have another opportunity to coach those guys. But for a lot of these seniors, great skill guys with Terrio and Cavallari and Trainer. These guys are not going to be able to put their uniforms on again, and it's tough.
Little razzle-dazzle here on the kick return, ends up in the hands of number 11, Gavin Trainer. He's going to take it out to about the 40-ish yard line. So Mill River still digging deep into the playbook here, trying to find stuff to work. Could be up to the 35-yard line. That was a nice tackle on the sideline there by the Terriers. I think it was Tim Fletcher making the tackle.
Yeah, so, and we start to look a little bit more towards next week where, we're going to assume that it's going to be Mount Abe.
Playing Springfield?
You never know.
Is it Mount Abe State Springfield? Yeah.
So, this Mount Abe team, 7-1, a very good, solid backfield. Again, Bells Falls is going to play another team with good backfield, good quarterback, good running back.
Yeah, and I think their defense has been quite good. I don't think they've allowed 100 points scored against them total in the season at this point. That when I looked at Mount Abraham. So that was number 10, Brendan Terrio with his best carry of the night right there. Picks up about 15 yards or so. Yeah, about 12, not 15. Still one of his better runs of the night, but yeah, his style right up the middle has not played well to what Bells Falls has been able to stop tonight. They've been looking for up the middle, and they're so strong up the middle that it just wasn't a great matchup. Cavallari deep, hands it off to Terrio. Terrio's going to pick up some yards this time, though. Down to about the 40-yard line.
Yeah, we just said it. Mill River's not going to, this would be, nice for Cavallari and Terrio to get that, touchdown and, be able to finish this, with some sense of pride,
Right.
for them who, again, 4-4, great year, building. What Allen's building as a program there at Mill River is pretty special, and kudos to him and his staff for how hard they work, and looking forward to seeing these guys again. Continue to build and be better. And
Terrio's going to be taken down by Jake Kissel there. Great play by Kissel. No gain on that play. Yeah, you're right, Nate. They've got some stuff to build on. Good coaching staff, good secondary. They're very disciplined. I'm not sure they committed a penalty tonight, to be honest with you. Despite everything going on, I think they've played a clean game in the penalty field.
Yep.
So Terriers out there with their second unit. 2nd and 8, 4.5 minutes to go here. Terriers looking to keep that shutout on the board. Terrio, that's going to be a pass out here. Dropped by number 3, Jack Bolger. Number 19, Brody Davignon was on the coverage. They're kind of breaking that up. He's played a nice game tonight, too.
He's really done some nice things the last couple of weeks. Some nice tackles, good, nice picks, and making some plays. Making some plays. Good team player.
Yeah, nice to see him step up. That interception tonight was unworldly.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
So we got a 3rd and 8 here. 3:56 to go. Cavallari in the shotgun again for Mill River. High snaps, going to be handed off to Terrio. Terrio picks up a few yards up the front here. Colton Colburn and Cam Sanders on the tackle there.
Yeah, good for Colburn getting some more work in. These seniors are going to have another chance at another game at Hadley Field next week, and again, we assume we don't know if they probably don't. I don't think Springfield plays or Mount Abe plays till tomorrow or Saturday, anyways. And but Bells Falls is going to have a stiff opponent if it's Mount Abe or whoever it is.
Yeah.
To come in here and hopefully without some rain. I bet you Bells Falls players will be looking forward to being dry after the last couple of weeks. But another chance for them at home to send themselves to put themselves in the semifinals with an opportunity to go to South Burlington, as you mentioned, to play for that state championship.
Yeah.
But we'll see what that brings next week.
Yeah, it's a good start this week though, with great effort, especially the second half that came out firing all cylinders. Like to see that from the beginning next week. Number 11, that's Gavin Trainer going up the middle for Mill River. I think he's going to have enough to get that first down. It was a 4th and 4. I think he's Yeah, he got forward. Had to get to the line of scrimmage there.
Yeah, Kissel with another tackle, so good work by another one of those young sophomores.
Kissel's got good size out there for a tight end defensive end.
Yeah, big kid, very athletic, good IQ. Again, cross-country runner.
Oh, wow.
He did 2 sports this year, this fall. And,
That's wild. Good for him.
I've had an opportunity to coach and be around that kid since he's been young, and man, he's again just a good kid. There's so many of these athletes that are they're such nice kids and
Yeah.
respectful. And
1st and 10 on their 27-yard line. It's going to be a handoff to number 63. Ethan Patch getting the carry for the Minutemen.
yeah, the old senior day. Good for Coach
Yeah.
Allen for getting his guy a carry.
Yep, getting his
You know,
senior,
always one
senior
of those-
lineman a carry.
Always one of those things that you want, as a senior. Give me just one, Coach,
Yeah.
just one.
Well, he's in the backfield again. Maybe he'll get 2. Cavallari back there, 2nd and 7. Yep, there he goes. Another carry. Colton Colburn with another tackle. Also in there was Carter Harper. Yeah, Colburn's been on 4 or 5 tackles here in the second half.
And this is what you got to look forward to, right? The second group has played most of the game. And a lot of those guys that were out there for the first unit, again, you got 10 seniors with a lot of leadership going to be gone out of that locker room. But, man, does it look like they got some guys that can fill those holes,
Oh,
Joe.
absolutely. And they've all learned from the same kids. They've all learned from the same coaches growing up. And, the message has been the same all along.
Yeah, and it's, we don't like to say it too often, but, do your job.
Right.
You show up and do your job, and it makes everybody else's job easier.
Just under 40 seconds to go. Cavallari is going to throw that one deep. It's going to be in through the hands of number 10, Brandon Terrio. Just kind of floated a little bit there on him. Ball's pretty wet, I'm sure, at this point. That ball definitely floated up in the air.
Yeah, he probably wishes he had that back because that would have been a touchdown. And this will probably be the last play of the game. And unless it's a touchdown, Terriers preserve the shutout and an opportunity to go to the semifinals.
Cavallari will line up in the shotgun again here. 8 seconds to go. Last play of the game is going to be handoff to Brandon Terrio. Terrio's going to run up the middle. He's going to be tackled by number 10, Jackson Fletcher, number 47, Cameron Saunders. And that's gonna put a finish on this one. 46-0 here at Hadley Field. Terriers advance to the semifinal, the semifinals. So the Final Four essentially. Looking forward to seeing that game. What do you think of tonight's game, Nate?
Once they got going, which they're going to have to figure out. You can't come into next week in a semifinal game and think, hey, we only need to play 2 quarters and be sufficient with that. But the way that they've turned it around, whether it's Lockerbie, the coaching staff, or it's Declan Leasai, it's Jake Tostrup, it's Connor Perry, it's Pat Connors, those senior guys over there going, fellas, we've got to fix it.
Yeah.
Probably some not safe for work language going on over there, which would you expect when there's a lot of passion and you play that way, and they'll figure it out, and hey, on to the semifinals for the Terriers.
Yeah, you gotta win in advance, however you get it. So ugly at times tonight, but in the end they move on. And we'll see what happens for next week. So thanks for joining me again tonight, Nate. I'm glad we were inside the studio because it looked pretty brutal out there.
Yeah, thanks to Will for sucking it up and being out there.
Absolutely.
He's not in the rain, so don't let him fool you. But he's braving the weather, and again to Alex and his son for giving up their night and their time for us to be here. And,
Absolutely.
we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, great team effort to put together a nice broadcast. Hopefully everyone gets home from the rain, tunes in, sees our rebroadcast of tonight's game. Sorry we couldn't present it live for you, but we gave you our best, and the kids gave you their best tonight, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, and if we need to do this again next week, we will. I mean, these guys, everybody, again, we're willing, and we love it. The support's been just amazing, and I wish Coach Allen and his troops a safe ride back to the Clarendon area for where Mill River is headed, and for that senior group and some of those kids that have made the north-south, like, they deserve it. Good for them, and good work from Coach Allen and his players at Mill River.
Yep, great job tonight. Great job tonight, Nate. Great job, Will. Great job, Alex. Great job, Bryce. Thank you all. We'll see you next week.